Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, June 14th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some MLB action this Saturday evening. The Cleveland Guardians versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Saturday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, the stud left fielder, Steven Kwan. And on the right, our center fielder, stud, Julio Rodriguez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here for the visiting Cleveland Guardians. Leading off for the Guardians in left field, Steven Kwan. Batting second, DHing today for Cleveland, Kyle Manzardo. Batting third, playing third base, Jose Ramirez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Carlos Santana. Batting fifth, playing second base, Daniel Schneemann. Batting sixth for the Guardians, catching today, Bo Naylor. Batting seventh, playing right field, Nolan Jones. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Gabriel Arias. And batting ninth, playing center field for Cleveland, Angel Martinez. And on the mound for the Guardians with a 4-6 record and ERA of 3.81, it is Tanner Bybee. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing today for Seattle, Jorge Polanco. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, playing first base, Rowdy Tellez. Batting seventh, playing right field, Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And batting ninth, playing second base, Cole Young. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 1-3 record, ERA of 6.53, but with a career high 14 Ks in his last start, you know who it is. It is George Kirby. And we're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 or more overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Josh in the building, what's good? Zay in the building, what's good? And again, it's going to be Father's Day tomorrow. The game is going to be the rubber match at 1:10 Pacific. I will be meeting up with my dad early for breakfast, but we will be doing the rubber match tomorrow as well. I want to make sure I do every single game in this series. Again, right now, 35-33 record for the Guardians. Mariners 34-34. Both teams, could be wild card teams. Obviously, we don't think necessarily Cleveland or Minnesota will catch Detroit, but you never know. Teams can hit a wall at any given point like the Mariners did, but, definitely a chance for the Guardians and the Mariners both to make the playoffs in 2025. GG to all of the Guardian fans coming through, and hopefully we end up getting a competitive matchup here today. Might be a pitcher's duel early on, but again, yesterday was a little bit of a surprise, winning 7-2. We've definitely been on the biggest slump out of any team after winning 9 consecutive series in a row, and so it kind of felt good to be able to play a quality team like the Guardians and win by that margin. Starting pitching was good besides Castillo giving up back-to-back homers, but that was pretty much it. Bullpen was much better than normal. They're usually blowing games for us. They actually pitched well, and the hits came alive. 16 hits yesterday, and normally the Mariners aren't going to get that many. Usually we shoot for 4 to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. So that definitely was not something that Cleveland was used to. Prior to that game, they only gave up a few hits and a few runs, within the last week and a half. So again, blessed, and we'll see what we end up getting here today with George Kirby on the mound. 1-3 record, ERA of 6.53 for George Kirby. And again, leading off, left fielder Steven Kwan. On deck, DHing Kyle Manzardo. And batting third baseman stud Jose Ramirez. And obviously, if we can limit the damage from Ramirez and Kwan, that should give us a good chance to be able to compete here today. Let's go, baby. I'm ready. %48 of the runs for the Mariners are typically home runs. So usually when we hit 1 or 2, that typically leads to a victory. We'll see what we get here today. First pitch from George Kirby to Steven Kwan. Takes a strike looking high and away with a sinker. 97 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And hopefully we can get George going early and often. 14 Ks from George on his last start, a career high. First 3 starts, he wasn't good, especially in those first 2. And then he had to exit game 3 when he had a line drive go back into his mouth and nose. And obviously nothing was broken, but had to exit at that moment. And then obviously in that 4th opportunity is where he started to cash in. 0-1 pitch, fouled off high and inside, behind in the count 0-2 to Steven Kwan. 0-2 pitch, high and away, fouled off with that knuckle curve that Kirby will throw out there once in a while. No balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the first to Steven Kwan. Let's go, George. 0-2 pitch in play, and Kwan flies out to center, 1 away. Next up, DHing for the Guardians, Kyle Manzardo. What's good, Dave? Happy early Father's Day. Top of the first inning, 0-0, Guardians and Mariners. And again, hopefully we can get George with a few punch-outs within the first 4 or 5 innings, to kind of set the tone. I don't expect 14 Ks in this particular matchup. I don't even expect 10, but if we can get George somewhere between 5 and 8, that might be good enough to win. First pitch from George to Manzardo, fouled off right down the middle with a sinker, 97 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Now, if George ends up getting 10 Ks or more, and the bullpen actually does a decent job, then it may be tough for the Guardians to win at that point. But again, once starting pitching goes out in the 6th or 7th, then the game resets, and we'll see how the bullpen handles each situation. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Manzardo. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Manzardo. Captain in the building. What's good, brother? 1-2 pitch. Sinker right down the middle, fouled off, 97 miles an hour. And I like the range that George will go through his pitches. Some pitches are going to be 95 to 97, but then he will have a few pitches in his arsenal that'll be 85 to 88 to try to fool the hitter. And we'll see what we get here today. 1-2 pitch. Low and away with that splitter. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Manzardo. And I had to get a couple new Kirby photos, obviously with the stream. Really like this one. And again, hopefully we have an electric 14K performance here today. I don't expect it, but you never know out of George. But even if he could get to 8 to 10, that would be very solid. In play. And a nice base knock by Manzardo. And he gets into second base for a double. Nice job by Kyle there, getting a double early on Kirby. Next up, the best player on the team, third baseman, Jose Ramirez. We got to try to find a way to get a double play on Ramirez. That'll be easier said than done. First pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour by Kirby, 1-0 count. We're at 10. 10 more to go to hit 20. 40 more to go to hit the goal. Eric in the building. What's good? First pitch, high and away with that four-seam fastball to Jose Ramirez, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle with that slider, 88 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jose Ramirez. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off high and away. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. Top of the first inning, 0-0. Manzardo with a double early on. And we have a 1-2 count with 1 out to Jose Ramirez. Let's go, baby. Ken Griffey Jr. in the building for the series, which is pretty cool, considering that's like my favorite player and my hero besides my dad. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Ramirez. Yeah, a couple pitches back, Zang. If that would have went maybe 5 to 8 feet left, that would have been a 2-run homer, and that definitely would have set the tone for you guys. Maybe about 10 feet. 2-2 pitch. Right down the middle with a slider, fouled off, 97 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. Kirby on the mound and Jose Ramirez in the box. Let's go, George. Bring that electricity, baby. And a career-high 14 Ks in his last start with 3 shaky ones to start off the season. That 4th one was the charm. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off with the splitter, 87 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jose Ramirez. Jose really grinding out this at-bat. Two-two pitch. Low and away. Tries to paint the corner with the knuckle curve and just misses. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. Yeah, you don't got to tell me. I met him when I was 7, and again, that's my favorite player in, any sport, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, wrestling. When you meet a guy like that, when you're in first grade, it stays with you for your whole entire life. And big swing and a miss. Kirby gets his first punch out on Jose Ramirez. There we go, baby. I like that. Keep it up, George. 2 away. Bring that electricity. Next up, first baseman Carlos Santana. Yeah, even to this day, if you go back and look at every MLB player, superstar, in the last 30, 40 years, I think a lot of people would agree, that Griffey had the cleanest, purest swing, and on top of that, didn't do steroids or PEDs. So really glad that my hero wasn't Barry Bonds or Jose Canseco or Mark McGuire or one of those guys, Sammy Sosa, because that would have crushed me. First pitch from Kirby to Santana. Takes a strike looking outside of the zone. Should have been called ball, but called strike. Bad call by that ump. We'll see where the strike zone is with this ump here today. And down goes Santana. There we go, baby. Good top of the order for the Cleveland Guardians against George Kirby, and I like that. Didn't give up anything. And again, George was really shaky in the first couple starts, and nice to be able to see that we're not down 2, 3, 4, 5 runs early. Let's go to the bottom of the first inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Now, we've had some legends. We may have never, been to a World Series and be the only team that's never been, but I believe that we will, within the next 10 to 20 years. Could be sooner than that, but having guys like Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson, the big unit, Edgar Martinez, Ichiro, and now a couple with Julio and Cal, and quite a few of these pitchers on the staff making a name for themselves. It's definitely exciting, and this is probably the most excitement we've had in quite some time here in the Pacific Northwest. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, the best catcher in baseball, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, baby. Daniel in the building. What's good? Yeah, but my junior collection is huge. From meeting him when I was 7, I also got to meet his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., also at the same event. So definitely got photos on my wall that I'm looking at here in the studio from that day. And, I can remember it as if it was yesterday, even though I'm 43 now and I was 7 when I met him when I was in first grade. But definitely one of the most special moments in my entire life, and definitely cherish that moment that I met both of those guys at that time. All right, let's go to the bottom of the first inning. We're knotted up at 0, and on the mound for the Guardians with a 4-6 record, ERA of 3.81. It is Tanner Bybee. 62 strikeouts, 23 walks, and 75.2 innings pitched. First pitch from Bybee to Crawford, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away with a four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bybee to Crawford. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss with the cutter. Tries to paint that corner and does, 88 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. I mean, after all of the major legends, after like the Ichiro era, definitely the next player after that would be in that same category of Randy and Griffey, Edgar, Ichiro, definitely Felix Hernandez. In play on the 1-2 pitch, and JP keeps that hot streak alive. He's our hottest hitter, baby, as of late. And I like to see JP get on early and often. It really does set the tone for guys after him. Julio, Cal, Polo, and Randy. Great job by JP. I see you, Crawdaddy. Keep getting on base early and often. Hopefully he can steal second, and maybe we can end up getting an early run here in the bottom of the first. Nice job, JP. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, J-Rod. We need you, baby. Let's go, Julio. Go M's. Trident's up. First pitch, takes a strike looking inside. Should have been called ball, but called strike. Strike zone's pretty open here today. And JP, as I say, stealing second. 10 seconds later, what does JP do? Steals second, and we got a runner in scoring position. Everything going. Mariners here early. I like it. Let's go, baby. Nice job, JP. So important to be able to get those guys on, as your leadoff hitters. It really does set the tone. Even if you don't end up scoring with that guy, just getting him in scoring position, and then, even if you end up having bases loaded like we did, in the first and we didn't get anything, I knew that was a good sign of things to come, even if we weren't able to bring those guys home early in the matchup. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 5 feet off the plate. I don't know what Julio was swinging at there. Big swing and a miss. Behind in the count 0-2. Be more patient, Julio. 0-2 pitch. Low and at the knees with the sinker. 86 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bybee to Rodriguez. Judah in the building. What's good? Yeah, Cal memorabilia going up a lot, obviously, this year. You know, I don't have a lot of Cal cards, but I did invest in one, you know, once he hit that homer in 2022 to get us to the playoffs for the first time in 20-plus years. As soon as he hit the homer, I went to eBay, and then I ended up buying a Topps Heritage rookie card auto, just, you know, knowing that, you know, I better buy it now before he gets really, really good. And, you know, cue a few years later to 2025, the best catcher in baseball. And I believe he will be the best catcher in baseball for many years to come. There's going to be other names that will be in the conversation, you know, Adley Rutschman and a few others. You know, Will Smith, obviously, for the Dodgers. Salvador Perez is getting a little older, but, you know, Cal has got all the tools and the youth, as well as being a switch hitter and, you know, to be the guy for quite some time. 2-2 pitch. High and away. Count now is full to Julio Rodriguez. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Bybee to Julio. Judah in the building. What's good, brother? Anna in the building. What's good? Bottom of the first. JP Crawford with a single at his first at-bat, which is always a great sign to see. He's been very good for us, you know, within the last month or so, and hopefully he continues that and he can rub that off, you know, onto Julio and Cal and Polo and Randy, and even our role players have been, you know, getting the job done, and it's good to see. In play, and there we go, baby. Julio with a single to center. Go, JP. And JP gets into third. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Runners on the corners at first and third with no outs. We're going to score a run. You know, again, we did have bases loaded yesterday in the first and got nothing, but we have no outs right now. And again, I'm not saying Cal's going to go for a 3-run homer here, but again, it would be nice to be able to get an RBI or even just a single, and hopefully Randy and Polo can get the job done. First pitch to Cal Rawling. Low and away. Sweeper on the line. Could have been called strike or ball. They decided to go ball with that sweeper. 1-0 count. Bybee on the mound. Big dumper. Cal Raleigh in the box. Bottom of the first inning. Runners on the corners. First and third. JP at third. Julio at first with no outs. Great position for the Mariners to take advantage early and often. And again, if we end up winning this matchup here today, we're going to have a very good chance to win with a sweep with Emerson Hancock on the mound tomorrow, even though we know sweeping is very hard to do in a 3-game set or a 4-game set. But we'll have to kind of wait and see. But obviously, the goal for any team going in is trying to win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4. But if you end up winning the first 2 games in the series or the first 3, then obviously the sweep is going to be the goal. Yeah, well, I mean, even before where the writers and the fans of other teams were hating, there wasn't really another catcher that was getting 30 to 35 home runs on the daily, and then ended up switching to the torpedo bat, and obviously having a custom one made from the right and the left has worked out tremendously. And Julio steals second. And these are all the basic things that we weren't doing when we were in our slump. And hopefully the last part of the puzzle will be implemented, which is bunting. And hopefully we get some bunting down at least once or twice in the game. And then I think I will be complete with all of the analysis and breakdown, because that's the one thing, you know, we haven't been stealing bags. We haven't been bunting, you know, and we need to make sure that we're getting runners in scoring position, being aggressive, but not stupid, you know, and again, we don't want to get caught in between the base paths. And that was something that we had a problem with, you know, within the last 2 to 3 weeks. Pitch is fouled off. 4-seam fastball, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bybee to Raleigh. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 within the first hour, 50 or more overall. And obviously we'll be shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. Bybee on the mound, big dumper in the box. Let's go, Cal. You can do it, baby. And again, whenever you end up having a catcher as your best player on the team, and that's saying a lot when you got a guy like Julio Rodriguez on the team well, pitch inside, count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and no outs. But again, if you go back and look at the Reds with Johnny Bench, Buster Posey with the Giants, Pudge Rodriguez, Mike Piazza, obviously, and Pudge with the Texas Rangers, Piazza with the Mets and the Dodgers. It really does make a big difference when you end up having a guy that not only is a leader on the team, but we haven't really seen a switch hitting catcher with power like Cal ever. And again, if we didn't have Cal Raleigh, we would probably be 10 or 15 games below 500. That's the type of impact that Cal has on this team. Runners at second and third, 0-0 score here in the bottom of the first. Mariners threatening. Bybee on the mound, big dumper in the box. Count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with no out. Let's go, Cal. Set the tone early and often, baby. Bring that electricity. And there we go, baby. Cal. Go, baby, go. Run. Go, Cal. Yes, and Cal gets in with a double, and that is an RBI double. 1-0 Mariners. That's my boy. Let's go. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Getting runs early and often. Next up is Jorge Polanco. And Polo has been a very good hitter, within the last 2 weeks. So hopefully that will continue as well. When the role players play well, it's hard to beat the Mariners. If it's only going to be like Julio and Cal, we can't win with just 2 guys out of 9. We're going to need JP. We're going to need Polo. We're going to need Randy. And then anything that we get with Rowdy, Dominic Canzone, Williamson, and Young, that's just gravy. That's just extra, cherry on top. And again, the more guys that you can have in the lineup that can be consistent will give you a better chance to leave guys not stranded and to get RBIs, stolen bags, and the occasional home run here and there. 1-1 pitch, high and away, change up, 2 balls and 1 strike to Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. Let's get it, baby. Bottom of the first, runners at second and third. Told you we would score in this particular inning. We had bases loaded with 1 or 2 outs yesterday. Didn't get anything, but it was a good sign for things to come. And let's see what we can get here out of Polo. Hopefully he can connect. And again, it doesn't necessarily need to be homers early and often. But again, we've had a few guys that have barely missed homers, just like Cal did there, which could be a 3-0 game at the moment. But we'll take an RBI double for 1-0 early, especially out of a guy like Tanner Bybee. And here we go, Polo. Yes, sir. Stack fly to center. Julio goes from third, tags up, and makes it safe. 2-0 Mariners. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Way to get it deep enough, Polo, for Julio to tag up. Great start. Next up, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Right ends up, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Randy. You know what to do, baby. And again, the Mariners are kind of dangerous once they get a situation like this. Sometimes that unexpected homer will come in that same inning. Not saying that Randy's going to do it right here, but sometimes, once we get a couple hits, a couple RBIs, and then we end up taking the lead, sometimes, the Mariners will have that, Uncle Mo and that momentum that'll carry over, to a Randy, a Rowdy, a Dominic Canzone. So I don't know how many batters we're going to get to in this inning, but if it keeps going, where we get into the 7th, 8th hitter, 9th hitter, at some point, there may be an unexpected homer that comes out of nowhere. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Mariners. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Randy. 1-0 pitch, high and inside with the cutter, 88 miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. And again, we struggled for a month and a half. So now if the Guardians would have played us, weeks ago, we probably would have gotten swept, but now you're facing us at a point where we're starting to get healthy. We're starting to get the groove, and we're going to have Logan Gilbert back for the Red Sox series. So I'm definitely excited about that. And again, once we get Luke Raley, who's playing for the Tacoma Rainiers tonight as well, having Raley and Gilbert back should make a big impact on the team. 2-0 pitch, fouled off. Tries to jam the hitter and does. 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Randy Arozarena. And again, Tanner, 4-6 record with an ERA of 3.81. Hopefully we can do some damage, obviously, in these next few innings as well. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking on the line. Tries to paint that line and does. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 2-2 pitch. And Randy gets hit. Looking like Ty France out there. And this is the guy that gets hit the most out of anybody on the Seattle Mariners. And again, Ty France was that guy based off his big arms and his stance. And it looks like Randy is taking that role. Now you got runners at first and second with 1 out. Next up is Rowdy Tellez. And like I was mentioning, if you let us go too deep in the order, you may end up having kind of an unexpected homer that kind of comes out of nowhere. And if they're not careful, Rowdy may connect. And if he does, then it will be 5-0 Mariners in the first inning. Remember, Rowdy is the one that got it started for us yesterday. So you got to be very, very careful. Obviously, right now, the Guardians are bleeding out, and they're looking for a double play. Hard to get double plays with runners at first and second, but it can be done. As long as Rowdy doesn't hit a slow dribbler to third, we're fine. But again, with 1 swing, this could be a 5-0 game. Trident's up. Let's go. First pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away from Tanner Bybee. 0-1 count. Bottom of the first inning, runners at first and second, 2-0 Mariners. And again, we hit a wall, and it was bad for about a month and a half. And it just kind of feels good that we're finding our footing. I know Guardian fans were probably hoping for the bad Mariners, but, we're starting to be able to get healthier, and we're finding our groove. And again, we're not a fluke. We won 9 consecutive series in a row. You're not going to see too many teams in MLB that can do that. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone right down the middle. Behind in the count, 0-2 to Rowdy Tellez. 0-2 pitch, changeup low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Tanner Bybee on the mound, Rowdy Tellez in the box. Let's go, Rowdy. Trident's up. Bring that electricity, baby. One-two pitch, fouled off high and away. Count remains still 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. And again, if we can get 1 more run in this particular inning, that would be great. We'll take anything that we can get, but you always want to take advantage of a situation early just because you don't really know who's going to be coming in with the bullpen later in the matchup. 1-2 pitch, and gets punched out, looking 2 away. Big punch out there by Bybee with Rowdy in the box. Next up for the Mariners, right fielder Dominic Canzone. Dom can get a 2-run RBI double here. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Seattle. Dominic Canzone in the box, Tanner Bybee on the mound. I did not watch any of the College World Series, but I have plenty of friends that will send me, different information, based on, teams that won, like LSU and obviously Oregon State, being in the College World Series. I always follow to see what they do whenever they make it. And I noticed that they ended up winning a game, a few days back. But I don't typically watch college, once it ends up getting to, maybe the championship round, maybe I'll tune in a little. But again, I'm usually watching a little bit more MLB, but, I still will read and see like highlight, clips, but I'm not going to watch games typically. And down goes Dominic Canzone, and that is the end of the first inning. Little slow dribbler there. Throw to first and got him. All right, good inning for the Mariners, setting the tone here at home, 2-0 Seattle. Let's see who's up next here for the Guardians in the top of the second. Next up for the Guardians in the 5-hole, second baseman Daniel Schneemann. Batting second, catching today in the 6-hole, Bo Naylor. And batting third, right fielder who homered yesterday with Stephen Kwan. In the 7-hole today, Nolan Jones. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 1-3 record, ERA of 6.53. Obviously, ERA was very, very high, and he was very bad in the first 2 to 3 starts, but had a career high 14 Ks in his last outing. And hopefully we can get something of that nature here today. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Yeah, so my dad is going to be coming into town, and we're going to go to a nice diner for some good breakfast early. I'm like 8 to 9 a.m., so I got to wake up early and obviously walk my pup and do that. And then I'll be back, probably within an hour or two and settle in. And then the Mariners play, obviously, the rubber match here against the Guardians at 1:10 Pacific. So I will be able to do that matchup, and that's what I'll be doing, obviously, for Father's Day. First pitch from Kirby to Schneemann, high and away with the slider, 87 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Let's go, George. One-0 pitch, high and away with the sinker. 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Schneemann. 2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss with the 4-seam fastball right down the middle, 95 miles an hour with that high heat by Kirby. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Top of the second inning, 2-0 Mariners. And if you're just tuning in, Cal Raleigh doubled to right, barely missed a homer. JP scored, Julio to third, and then Polo had a sac fly to center. Julio scoring from third and getting home, 2-0 Seattle. 2-1 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball again. 3 balls and 1 strike to Daniel Schneemann. 3-1 pitch, and that is a walk. And that's a rare walk. George is one of those guys, he walks, the least amount out of any of the starters typically. And again, I know he's coming off of a injury where he had shoulder inflammation and missed the first 50-plus games. So he's still trying to find, his rhythm, even though he did have a career-high 14 Ks in his last outing. But the first 3 starts were terrible. So again, we don't really know what we're going to get out of George here today, but hopefully we can get a double play now to get ahead of the order. First pitch to Bo Naylor, high and away, 3 feet off the plate with the 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Kirby, 1-0 count. Come on, George, settle in, baby. Let's go. Yeah, Solano doesn't play enough, though, to take that role. Got to be a starter on the team. And it really depends on approach, in the box, and your batting stance, and depending on how big your arms are and, how you lean in to pitches and whatnot. So, I don't mind if Randy ends up being the Ty France of 2025 as long as he doesn't get hurt with all of the extra damage that he's taking with his arms and his legs. We got a mound visit from Cal and Kirby, trying to get on the same page here. And Cal is one of the best leaders, not only on the Mariners, but in MLB. Makes every single pitcher on the staff that much better. Imagine if we had Mitch Garver as our catcher and that's it. I could only imagine what our record would be. We probably would only have 15 or 20 wins. It would be very, very bad. We would be 10 or 15 games below 500 or maybe more, just based on not having Cal alone. That's the impact. Top of the second, runner at first, 2-0 Mariner lead. Kirby on the mound, Naylor in the box. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Sinker misses the zone again. 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Naylor. Schneemann steals second. Nice jump there by Daniel. And both teams are getting aggressive on the bags, and I like that. It makes for a more entertaining game when you can get that type of aggressiveness. And of course, you would love to be able to throw guys out at first or second. And Cal is actually one of the best defensive catchers in the game, on top of being the best power hitting catcher in MLB. But a nice jump by Schneemann, and Cal couldn't get it there in time. Good attempt by JP, but just a little late. 2-1 pitch, fouled off in the zone by Bo Naylor. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Naylor. All right, we hit 20. There we go. Let's see if we can get to 30 before the first hour is up, and the goal will be 50 on the night. So we're almost halfway there. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. 2-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss. Down goes Bo Naylor. Another punch out for George Kirby. There you go. That's my guy. Bring that electricity, baby. We see you, George. 1 away. Next up for George Kirby, with 1 out and a runner at second, right fielder who hit a solo jack yesterday to get the party started, Nolan Jones. And then right after Nolan, in the 9-hole was Stephen Kwan, but they decided to flip the order up here in the game. So we'll see if that has any effect on the rhythm of the Guardian players. First pitch to Nolan Jones. Takes a strike, looking right down the middle with a slider, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at second and 1 out. And we're still looking for a double play opportunity at some point in the matchup. It may not be this inning, but again, we'll see what we get as the game moves forward. 212 average, 3 homers, 17 ribbies, OBP of 299 for Jones. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. Knuckle curve there by George, who likes to sprinkle quite a few different pitches in his repertoire. Top of the second, 2-0 Seattle, runner at second. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nolan Jones. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees with the sinker. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Jones. Let's go, George. Magic number will be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we can hit that, that should give us a good opportunity here today. 2-0 early on is great for us, not so much for the Guardian fans in the building. But again, we've been struggling and we need this fucking series. 2-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Jones. And we don't really see Kirby get into too many 3-2 counts, and he doesn't really walk too many guys. But again, he did miss the first 50-plus games, so there are going to be moments where he looks great, and there's going to be moments where he looks a little shaky. 3-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with the slider by Nolan Jones, 88 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out with a runner at second. 2-0 Seattle lead. Oh, Andrew Jones. And there's another walk. And again, we don't see George walk that many guys, and a little crazy. And we'll see if we can get a double play here to get us out of this inning. Next up for the Guardians in the 8-hole, shortstop Gabriel Arias. And it's definitely much harder to get a double play with runners at first and second rather than just a guy at first. Because then if you get that slow dribbler right up the middle, all you need is a flip or just to tag the bag and throw to first, and then you're done. So to be able to get a double play with 1 out with runners at first and second, you need that slow dribbler to third base, and then you'd be able to throw, obviously to second and then to first, or just to second, depending on if they end up catching it or not with the line drive. Let's get that double play, baby. In play. And there it is, baby. Grounds out to the double play. Shortstop to second base. My ESP is strong, baby. And again, when you watch a team as much as I do, I'm not going to, be correct 100% of the time, but I can definitely look at strategy, the way that we're playing defense, and what we need to get done to be able to get a double play, even in a situation with runners at first and second, which is hard to do, and the Mariners do it. And the one thing that they needed to have happen is not hit it to third or second, and that's exactly what happened by Gabby there. And let's go. Let's go, baby. I love that. Great start. Great offense. Great defense. Now the pitching, it could be a little bit better by George. He doesn't typically walk guys, but we'll take it. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see if we can add on a little more. Yes, Gilbert will be playing against the Red Sox. Yes. Monkey Kung Fu. He said, yeah, this guy's got the ESP, baby. Double play, baby. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We're at 20, 80 to go. And I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you being here. And again, anyone that's going to come through to show love, liking, subbing, sharing the stream, donating to the stream. And then ultimately, if you end up being consistent with all of those things, then you end up getting rewarded with a wrench next to your name. Appreciate you, Monkey. What random Seattle Mariner would you like me to throw up here for a photo or two? Let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the second inning for the Seattle Mariners. And honestly, as bad as it was for about a month and a half, I know it was hard to be positive, and I'm always going to keep it real. When things are good, you're going to know it. When things are bad, you're going to know it. But again, for a guy that's been watching this team, like Monkey Kung Fu and a few others where we've been watching this team for a long time, it's a long season. It's not like the season is 50 games. It's not, it's not 82 games like the NBA. It's 162. So you're going to go through the ups and the downs. And again, all we need is a series win or a sweep or two. And then all of a sudden we're right back on track. And it definitely feels a lot different just based on yesterday's win than what we did a month and a half prior to that. Next up is Ben Williamson. Let's go, Big Ben. And if we can get good production out of Ben and Cole, then that'll trickle over on some really good stuff for JP, Julio, and Cal at the top of the order. First pitch from Bybee to Williamson, takes a strike looking high and inside, 0-1 count. Let's go, Big Ben. We know you got the defense. Now we need the offense, and Ben has been better than Cole Young. Cole has been struggling, but again, hopefully he can get on track. 0-1 pitch, takes another strike looking in the zone. Cutter, 84 miles an hour there by Bybee, behind in the count 0-2. 0-2 pitch, low and away, tries to paint the corner and misses with that sinker. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bybee to Williamson. I really like this Bybee photo. Usually you don't have them that look like that. 1-2 pitch, and just as I click on the Bybee, he gets him swinging. See ya! Nice punch out there by Tanner Bybee. We're not haters here. We'll appreciate the good things that happen for both teams. Nice K there by Bybee. Next up is Cole Young. And hopefully Cole can get going. Obviously got a hit in his first game, but let's be real. Overall, Cole has not been that good. He needs to be better. And again, that batting average is way too low. He's at 225. And again, we got a lot of guys that are in the 200s. We don't have anyone that's actually even in the 300s. But again, you want most of your guys, 250 and up, but preferably if you can get most of them 260, 270 and up. I know that's a big ask, but again, you want to be closer to 300 rather than 200. First pitch, big swing and a miss. 0-1 count from Bybee to Young. Adrian Beltre, good choice. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Behind in the count 0-2 to Tanner Bybee. Come on, Cole. And again, I would love to see Harry Ford come up. And again, I don't know if they would end up sending Cole Young down to bring Harry Ford up, or they would just bring Harry up and send someone else down. But again, I would love to be able to see, not only Luke Raley, which he's in the lineup for the Tacoma Rainiers tonight. But again, you got Tyler Locklear at first, who could be a guy that we could call up and play on a 1-2 pitch. And Young lines out to the shortstop, 2 away. But we got Harry Ford, Luke Raley, and obviously Tyler Locklear, who we've seen in limited action last year, who could be a guy that could help us. I mean, we don't want to decimate the AAA team, but, we need help. And again, if we can get a hot bat, that could help us dramatically. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1, J.P. Crawford. First pitch with a sweeper, low at the knees by Bybee, 1-0 count. And again, really the Mariners' success starts at the top. And when J.P. Crawford ends up getting hits early on in the matchup, that gives us, a much better chance to win. If you notice when those games where JP ends up going 0 for 4, 0 for 5, we typically lose. So we need him, we don't necessarily need him to go 3 for 4 or 3 for 5, but, getting a couple hits a game is essential to our success at the top of the order. And then that carries over for Julio or Cal if JP is on. And then they homer, it ends up being a 2-run homer, 3-run homer, rather than a solo jack or a 2-run jack. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Bybee to Crawford. Let's go, JP. Two-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Captain is a Seahawk fan. Just like Judah, you're a Patriot fan. But I know that a lot of us will be following what Pete Carroll does with Genty with the Raiders. With Chip Kelly calling the plays there as well. And Crawford with the walk. That's one thing I'm really good at. I'm really good at remembering, different things about different people. As long as you pay attention, depending on how often you are here, you will be able to pick up a lot of things on not just me, but the others in the room as well. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, fouled off, high and inside at the hips. Fouled that one off. Good souvenir for a fan, 0-1 count. I imagine for a lot of Seahawk fans, they're not going to be too happy this year. Again, it could be more than just 1 year. It could end up being like multiple years before they end up getting good again, again, for all of the people that wanted to hate on Geno and Lockett and DK, I have a feeling that at some point in 2025 in the regular season, they're going to be wishing that they had those 3 guys still on the team. Yeah, but definitely excited to see what Pete does with Chip Kelly and Genty. And it still may take a couple years for the Raiders to make a wild card, over the Chargers, or over the Broncos. Obviously we know the Chiefs are still the top dog, but at some point they will end up getting overtaken, in the division, most likely by Denver at some point, especially if the Chiefs have injuries or once they break up the Big Five. Obviously with Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Andy Reid, and obviously Spags as defensive coordinator. Once they end up going to 3 out of those 5, and let's say Kelce retires and they move on from Spags or something, the team won't be the same. They'll still be good, but there'll definitely be more wiggle room in the division. 0-1 pitch in play, and Julio flies out to center, and that is the end of the second inning, and we leave one stranded. I saw that one, and obviously we wanted to have Beltre in a Mariner uniform, but I saw obviously that one with Felix, so let's see what else I can find here. Hopefully I can find at least 1 or 2 of him in the Mariner uniform that will convert. And I liked Beltre on Seattle, just like I liked Nelson Cruz. Wasn't really a big Robinson Cano guy. Obviously rooted for him to do well, but again, I felt that they definitely overpaid for him. Bring back the grays. Get rid of the Northwest greens, and let's get these ones back. And there's another one there with Ichiro in the background. I'm actually surprised I'm finding ones that are actually converting. Sometimes with some of those old school players, I'll go through like 10, 15 photos and I won't even be able to get one to convert. But luckily we're able to find a couple decent ones there, like that one. I'm pretty shocked. But again, Adrian Beltre, what a stud. Appreciate you. And next up here in the top of the third inning, in the 9-hole, Angel Martinez. I always have to make sure I'm looking up, every single name, every single pronunciation and every single team. I always do a lot of prep before every stream. 0-1 pitch in play. And Martinez grounds out to the shortstop. JP throw to first. Rowdy's got him. 1 away. And obviously, if with most, Latino names, if it ends up being Martinez and it's Angel, it's probably not going to be Angel. It'll be Angel. So you have to, do your due diligence to make sure you're getting the pronunciation correct. And I always have to do that. Every once in a while, you will find one that is Angel, but I had a feeling that it was Angel, and I was right. Next up, one of the best players on the team besides Jose Ramirez, the guy that really spins the wheel for the team like JP does for us, left fielder Stephen Kwan. When he plays well, the Guardians win. When he doesn't play well, he got a homer yesterday, but obviously the better that Kwan does with Ramirez, as a tag team, that definitely helps their chances. 1-0 pitch in play, and Kwan grounds out to first, 2 away. Good defense here by the Mariners so far in the first 3 innings. Next up is DHing in the 2-hole, who had a double at his first at-bat, Kyle Manzardo. Yeah, Grays are my, again, the Blues are just kind of, if we're going to go with a jersey that's just kind of plain Jane, with the Blues, even though we have a pretty good record in them, I think the Grays are a little bit more sexier than the Blues, but I understand why they have the Blues. And then they have the whites, the cream. I like the cream. And I do like the City Connects with the color of blue. Really, the one that needs to go, I think, is the Northwest green. Swap that for the gray, and I think that we would be in business. So. And I think for a while that people just forgot how swaggy the Grays are, really. First pitch from Kirby to Manzardo, high and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Manzardo. And down goes Manzardo, and that was a quick inning there for the Guardians. And I don't think the Northwest green is terrible, again, but if we're going to have a color, I would rather go with the City Connects. Those pop, and especially with the trident on the helmet and then the lowercase Seattle, that swaggy. I mean, that pops and that feels like Mariners. This, obviously is a jersey that, color that we wore back like in the Griffey era and whatnot. But again, I feel like if we ended up going with something a little bit more subtle, and I just like the way the Grays look, with the way that the patch looks, the way that the Seattle looks on the gray, it just looks a little bit more clean, than this Northwest green. But, we'll see where we go in the future. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning as Manzardo grounds out to first to end the Guardians. And we're going to go to the bottom of the third to see if we can get another run or two. See if I can find another Adrian Beltre or not. Appreciate Monkey Kung Fu for holding it down. We're at 20, 80 to go. And some are going to have better resolution than others. Obviously, I try to get the, HD 4K. But again, if it's an older player, sometimes it won't be as high of a resolution. But, beggars can't be choosers, right? And I remember this one. This was a special moment. That was Felix Hernandez congratulating his really good friend, Adrian Beltre, on his 3,000th hit back in the day. Some goats right there, baby. I miss Felix. I wish Felix and Seager, were able to, feel what it's like to be on a team that actually is a team, instead of just being the two best players on the team with not a whole lot to work with. But the Grays look good, don't they? I think a lot of people forget how good the Grays really are. And if we're really being honest, out of all the jerseys, it's one of my favorites. Again, it's I like it more than the blue. Obviously I like the City Connects. I like the whites, but again, everyone's going to have a preference on what they like, but they definitely need to bring the Grays back. All right, one more like to 30. Let's get there, baby. And first pitch to Cal Raleigh, fouled off towards first base, 0-1 count. Let's go, Cal. And it's I don't think the Northwest greens are ugly. They don't look terrible. They give me Griffey old school vibes, but again, if we had to part with one, this would be the one that I would part with. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Singles, doubles, triples, homers. Let's get it, baby. But I like the City Connects a lot, just based off that color. That color screams Mariners. Let's go, baby. Bottom of the third, 2-0 Seattle. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bybee to Raleigh. Bottom of the third, 2-0 Seattle. Bybee on the mound, big dumper in the box. I'm a big, collector of sports memorabilia, toys, sports cards. I've been doing that for a long, long time, since I was 5 and I'm 43. I spend all my time with my pup as Cal flies out to left one way, but I walk 5 miles a day, 7 days a week with my pup. So, that keeps me busy. And then obviously I'm just like everyone else, I'm on Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and Prime and, all of the streaming services, trying to, catch up on, whatever programs that are being newly released. And there'll be some old school, stuff that I'll be watching as well. Like right now, I'm, getting pretty close. I got a couple seasons to go for Shameless. It's 11 seasons. I think I'm on season 8 or 9. But I usually like to watch 3 or 4 shows at once and kind of rotate, depending on my vibe and how I feel. 0-1 pitch to Jorge Polanco. Takes a strike swinging. Big swing and a miss. Behind the count 0-2 from Bybee to Polo. Oh-2 pitch, low and away with a curve, 81 miles an hour by Bybee. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. 4-6 record for Bybee, ERA of 3.81. And again, Castillo, gave up back-to-back homers yesterday, and that was it. So I'm not sure if this is the only 2 runs Bybee's going to give up, but we'll find out. And Polo grounds out to second, throw to first, 2 away. Next up is left fielder Randy Arozarena. I actually have a tracker, of what our records are with, the jerseys. And going into today's matchup, as we have a 1-0 pitch, high and inside with a cutter, 2-0 count. The whites, we are 11-11, so we're 500 with the whites. 0-5 with the Northwest green. Get rid of it. Cream, 4-1. Best record with those, with a winning percentage of 800, 4-1. Navy, 17-12. We wear those the most, typically on the road. And then City Connect, we won yesterday, so we're 2-5 with those. But last year we were very good with the City Connect. So really, there's only one jersey right now that we have bad luck in. It's those Northwest greens. So 2-0 pitch, takes a strike, swinging low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Randy Arozarena. And again, Randy and Polo were a liability when we were losing, but within, the last week and a half, 2 weeks, Randy and Polo have stepped up to the JP, Julio, and Cal level, and it shows. And we're starting to kind of turn the corner. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking on the line. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 2-2 pitch. Sweeper, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. There we go. Great job, Captain. 20 more likes to hit the goal. 30 within the first hour is a great start. And we're at 20 on the dono train, 80 to go. Shout out to Monkey Kung Fu. And there we go, Bybee with a walk. And you're not going to get too many walks out of Bybee or, George Kirby. But today, you're starting to see a few. And we'll see if we can get another one at some point, either in this inning or later in the matchup. Next up, first baseman, Rowdy Tellez. And with 1 swing, the game could be 4-0. Let's go, Rowdy. Rowdy was the one that got the party started for us. And again, you never know who that player might be to get things going. And we already got 2 runs, obviously, on Bybee. But again, if he hits a homer here, 4-0 will be hard to come back from. But again, with our bullpen, depending on who they play, if they play Bizzardo or Trent Thornton or Colin Snyder or Jackson Kowar, we might be fucked. Like, we might need a big lead because you don't really know what you're going to get. Now, if you end up having Brash, Spire, and then you end up having Munoz, everything will be fine. But we got incredibly lucky with Carlos Vargas yesterday and Bizzardo, some of those guys that came in. Obviously, Brash is lights out and whatnot, but I'm happy that the starting pitching was good besides Castillo giving up back-to-back homers, but that was it. And the bullpen didn't lose the game for us, which is a nice thing if you're a Mariner fan, where we were kind of getting used to the bullpen fucking us over, and it was nice to see the bullpen actually do something. First pitch to Rowdy Tellez, fouled off, 0-1 count. We're 17-17 at home. So 34-34 record. So it's almost like right down the middle. It's dead even. 17-17 at home. 17-17 on the road. Kind of a random, weird stat. You wouldn't think it would be like that. And obviously the talk about Dipoto and everyone, it's normally 54%, and we were at that mark, with Dan Wilson in his first 100 games. I think he won 54 out of his first 100, and that's kind of the joke because they don't really put in all their chips, at once. They try to do like the bare minimum and try to have the team overachieve. But yeah, 34-34 record, 17-17 at home, 17-17 on the road, and we're much better than that. So 500 is not who we are. We should be a team that is, 4 or 5 games above 500, but when we're peaking, maybe 8 to 10 games above 500, but all it takes is 1 or 2 or 3 bad series in a row or a couple sweeps, and then your lead gets erased, and then now we're looking up at the Astros, which sucks ass, but I know we'll be able to come back and make up some ground. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees, 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Tellez. Lauren in the building, what's good? But I'm always keeping track of home, away, jerseys, what our records are in them, just all the random things that are the Seattle Mariners. So and Randy Arozarena to second on a disengagement violation, which you're not going to see too much in MLB, but it does happen from time to time. And we got a 2-2 count from Bybee to Tellez. Come on, Rowdy. Rowdy Tellez in the box. Tanner Bybee on the mound. Bottom of the third inning with a runner at second, Randy. 2-0 Seattle lead. And 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Rowdy Tellez. Good pitching there by Bybee. We'll give him some love. We're not haters here. End of the third inning, 2-0 Seattle. Way to bring that electricity, Bybee, to keep them in the game. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Guardians in the top of the fourth. Next up for the Guardians, their best player, third baseman Jose Ramirez. Batting second, the former Seattle Mariner, first baseman Carlos Santana. And batting third, second baseman in the 5-hole with a walk with his first at-bat, Daniel Schneemann. Trident's up. Let's go Mariners. Lauren, it sounds like he'll be playing for the Red Sox series. So I don't think that they're going to have him play tomorrow. Emerson Hancock's on the bump tomorrow. So we're going to have him against Boston. I don't know if it'll be game 1 or game 2, but we should have him back, in the Boston series. That's what, obviously, everyone that covers the Mariners has been saying. And then Luke Raley is playing for the Tacoma Rainiers tonight, and we should have Luke Raley back in the Boston series as well. So definitely excited about that, and we'll see how that series goes, and it definitely gives us a better chance to win when you get Luke Raley and, more importantly, Logan Gilbert back on the bump. And they already sent down Logan Evans for another guy in relief pitching. So we may not see Logan Evans unless we have an injury to one of our starters again. But hopefully he can continue to work on his game, for the Tacoma Rainiers. And then if we ever need an emergency pitcher, Logan Evans isn't a bad one to have. But again, they're going to stick with Emerson Hancock, as like the 5, so we'll see where it goes. First pitch from George Kirby to Jose Ramirez. Takes a strike looking with the sinker. 95 miles an hour by Kirby, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. Takes another strike looking. Should have been called ball, but called strike. Ump is very generous with the strike zone, to say the least. Definitely, the Guardians and the Mariners have both been getting calls that should be, balls, but they're, getting an extended strike zone for strikes. But it really hasn't affected the game up to this point, but it may as the game continues. 0-2 pitch, low and inside at the knees with the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Ramirez. One-two pitch, fouled off with the knuckle curve by Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Ramirez. I'm not sure if they have to stay for a minimum of 10 days. But again, we had injuries with Gilbert and Raley. So I feel, it really, they've been out for such a long time. So, I don't really think that there is a, necessarily like it has to be 10 days. I mean, I imagine they can have a little flexibility and whatnot, but I haven't heard that. But, again, from everything that I've read, sounds like they're both going to be back very, very soon. And they may come back on the same day. So unless there's some kind of setback with either one of them. And both have had opportunities with the Tacoma Rainiers, and, their rehabbing has been going good. No setbacks to mention. So hopefully there won't be, and we can get both those guys back. 2-2 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count now is full to Jose Ramirez. Yeah, but even with the Astros going against the A's and Angels, those are not guaranteed wins. Those might be the teams that are at the bottom of the division as Ramirez grounds out to second. 1 away. But again, when you're playing teams in the division, sometimes even the bottom feeders can beat the good teams at the top. So no guarantee that the Astros have success against the A's and Angels, even though that, they have been a little shaky up to this point. Now, the A's came out, roaring, but then hit a wall. We're very, very good in like the first 20 games, and in the last 20 or 15, they haven't been terrible. So we'll see where it goes. But the Angels have been getting a little bit better as the season has gone on. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle by Carlos Santana. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 2-0 Seattle lead. One pitch, low and away with that knuckle curve by Kirby. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 2-0 Mariner lead. And it shows you how good the Astros really are. Even with not having Yordan Alvarez almost for the whole year, not having Alex Bregman on the Red Sox, not having Kyle Tucker on the Cubs, and they still got, Altuve, Pena, and they're still able to find ways to win. So, that's going to be our number 1 rival, for the end of time. And again, if we're going to ever want to get to where we want to get, we're going to have to be able to beat them. And, it's hard, but at some point, we will be able to do it on a consistent basis. 3-1 pitch. And Santana singles to right. His first at-bat, he grounded out and gets revenge on Kirby at his second at-bat. Nice base knock by Carlos, the former Seattle Mariner. Next up, second baseman Daniel Schneemann. Now we need a double play, a slow dribbler right up the middle to J.P. Crawford or Cole Young, and a throw to Rowdy, and we get out of the inning. See if we can get another double play here. First pitch by Schneemann, and he singles to left, Santana to second. Uh-oh. Come on, Kirby. Nice hit there by Schneemann. And now a dangerous hitter in the 6 hole, catcher Bo Naylor. We have to make sure that you pitch him correctly. With 1 swing, they'll take the lead 3-2. So be very careful here, and we still need a double play. See if we can get a double play on Bo Naylor here. Top of the 4th, runners at first and second and 1 out. And hopefully we can find just a slow dribbler, either towards third base or towards second base. That'll be the way that we get out of this inning again. First pitch, big swing and a miss by Bo Naylor. Knuckle curve tricks him, 0-1 count. And we could always get a punch out on Naylor and then try to get a pop-up or ground out for that 3rd out as well. You're not going to get double plays every single time that opportunity presents itself. I'll call it and I'll try to will it and talk it into existence. But, I think Naylor has a better chance of punching out and then we get a pop-up or ground out on the next guy. That's what this particular inning feels like to me. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, behind in the count 0-2 from Kirby to Naylor. I still feel good about this inning. I mean, there's going to be times where, teams are threatening. Bases loaded, no outs, runners at second and third and 1 out, runners at first and second with 2 outs. You just got to be able to find a way to dig deep. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. And count remains no balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Kirby on the mound, Bo Naylor in the box. Let's go, George. Bring that electricity, baby. And it's not going to be a 14K career high day like he had in his last start, but he can still punch out a few before this game is up. 0-2 pitch. Tries to jam the hitter at the hips. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Naylor. And there you go. My ESP is on point. Big swing and a miss. And there's the punch out on Naylor. Again, I'm not going to be correct on every prediction, but again, I have a good feel, considering I watch every pitch, every game from beginning to end. And there you go. Down goes Bo Naylor. And then hopefully next year, even though Nolan Jones did have a solo jack on us yesterday against Luis Castillo, and then Stephen Kwan did the same thing. Now they have a different batting order, and Nolan is not batting in the 9 hole. He's in the 7 hole. So hopefully here is where we get the pop-up or the ground out, and then we can end up getting out of this inning unscathed. Got to have faith. And he had a walk at his first at-bat, and he will not walk in his second at-bat. Top of the 4th inning, runners at first and second and 2 outs. 2-0 Seattle lead. First pitch, knuckle curve. Big swing and a miss. Kirby is nasty with that knuckle curve. No hitter knows what to do when that pitch comes. And again, knuckle curves are nasty. And again, you're going to get a lot of hitters that are going to bite. And again, he doesn't use it every batter. He's very strategic. Usually he'll use maybe 1 or 2 pitches, depending on how many deep he's in, but he'll usually use it at least once, per batter, sometimes twice, depending on, how deep we are in the count. But to get ahead of the count with that knuckle curve is key. Anna in the building. What's good? Top of the 4th, runners at first and second with 2 outs. Kirby on the mound. Nolan Jones in the box. 0-1 pitch in play. And fuck. And there it is. I was hoping we would get a pop-up, but Jones right to center. Santana scores 2-1 Seattle. And again, you knew at some point that they were going to get something, on the Mariners. It's not like George was going to go unscathed, but really hoping that we could get out of that jam. But a nice job by Nolan Jones, who's been one of the hotter hitters against the Mariners in these first 2 games. Nice job by Nolan to get them on the board. Now it's 2-1 with runners at second and third for Gabriel Arias. And we can't have Gabby do anything here. The inning has to end. No ties, no taking the lead. And if we can get Gabby to get out with a pop-up or ground out, then we'll be good to go. Top of the 4th, runners at second and third. 2-1 Mariner lead. Kirby on the mound. Arias in the box. One-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss with that sinker. 95 miles an hour by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to Gabby. Let's go, baby. Come on, George, settle in. And again, it's like Castillo when he gave up the back-to-back homers. Again, if that was earlier in the year, that could have been really bad, but then he didn't give up anything after that. And, again, the starting pitching has to give up 3 runs or less. And if they do that, then it gives us a very good chance to win. But if they give up 1 to 2, that's pretty standard for any pitcher, good or bad. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss by Arias. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. We got to leave them stranded. How are you doing, Anna? One-two pitch, low and away with that slider, 88 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Arias. Let's go, George. 2-2 pitch, high and inside with a 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Kirby on the mound, Arias in the box. Come on, Kirby. Let's go, baby. Oh, it's already Father's Day over there, or happy early Father's Day for people here in the States. And if you're out of the States and it's already Father's Day, happy Father's Day. I will be doing the rubber match tomorrow, meeting up with the Pops early, 8-9 a.m. Going to have a good breakfast at a diner, and then the game is at 1:10 Pacific, so we will be doing that. I already got the thumbnail already made, and I don't want to miss any of the games if I don't have to. But again, if I was going to my dad's place, then probably we would have took the day off. I would have watched the game myself, but the schedule works out for me to be able to do the game. And we do pretty much all the holidays. I'll work on my birthday. We work on Christmas. We work on Thanksgiving. I work all year round. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. And this is going to be a key part of the game here. And we definitely need Kirby to try to get a punch out, pop up, or ground out. We don't want him to walk or to give up another RBI. We got to keep the momentum in Seattle's favor. Zay loves it. No, Joe. And it's always cool when we can actually have fans that come through that are actually true hardcore fans, of the team that we're going against. And Kirby with another rare walk. Oh my, this is getting dicey now. All right, next up for the Guardians, center fielder Angel Martinez. And right here, we just need a slow dribbler for an out, and hopefully we can get it here. Again, we don't want anything crazy. We only have a 1-run lead, and we don't really know who's going to be coming in, relief-wise. If it's like Brash, Spire, Munoz, we're good. But realistically, we're probably going to see, someone else. Maybe it's Colin Snyder. Maybe it's Bizzardo again at some point. Maybe it's Kowar. Maybe it's Trent Thornton. And if you have guys like Colin Snyder and Trent Thornton coming in, even if you have a 4-run lead, that might erase within 5 minutes. So, having a 1-run lead ain't going to be enough. Got to be very careful here. And obviously, this is the biggest threat that the Guardians have had up to this point against George Kirby. First pitch from Kirby to Martinez. Knuckle curve. Big swing and a miss. And he's been throwing the knuckle curve on the first pitch and getting them to swing, on almost every batter. You may need to go back to it again. And he does. Knuckle curve again. He read my mind and fouls that one off behind the count 0-2. I mean, if that's the pitch that they can't hit, fuck it. Throw knuckle curve 3 times in a row and get the fuck out of this inning. Why even play around? Don't even play around with the slider, or the fastball. Just go with knuckle curve 3 pitches in a row. Top of the 4th inning, bases loaded. Guardians threatening, 2 outs. They scored 1 this inning, but hopefully that will be it. But now behind in the count 0-2, and we just need 1 more strike to get out of this inning. And here we go. And Martinez. Kirby read my mind. Knuckle curve, knuckle curve, knuckle curve. And that's the first time in the game that he did it. It's like I thought it. I said it. He got the message, and we got out of the inning. And that's exactly what you need to understand, as a pitcher-catcher relationship. Cal has to understand that's the pitch that they can't, hit. So again, he was only using it like once per batter. But again, if it's so good that they're swinging and missing, you might as well keep using it. And again, 3 knuckle curves in a row, and we get out of the inning. And that might have actually saved the game for us right there. Because if he would have thrown any other pitch, who knows what could have possibly happened, and we more than likely would have been down. The game would have been tied, and the game would have been extended. They would have gone further into their lineup. So we definitely dodged a bullet there. Nice job by Cal Raleigh and George Kirby getting it done. Knuckle curve, baby. That's the nasty. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Mariners and see if we can extend our lead. Next up, 0-for-1, right fielder Dominic Canzone, who's been very good for us in limited starts, getting the call up from the Tacoma Rainiers. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, who's actually been better within the last couple weeks, Ben Williamson. And batting third, a hitter that has been struggling since his MLB debut, 0-for-1 second baseman Cole Young. Had a nice RBI opportunity yesterday to help us, get to a good number, but we need a little bit more consistency out of Cole. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 before the stream ends, and then we're at 20 on the dono train, 80 to go. Yeah, but for anyone like yourself that, wanting things due to bets, the sports gods aren't going to listen to you because you want to win money. That ain't going to work. It's only going to work for fans that are actual fans of the team, that follow the team, that understand the team, and then you might be able to get predictions that way. But, just because you got 50 or $100 that you could win based on us getting a certain amount of runs, you're never going to win those bets. First pitch, takes a strike, looking in the zone, 0-1 count. Just like every person that bets thinks that they're really good at it, and they will never tell you about how much money that they've lost, only in the times that they've won. And again, betting on sports is not easy. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bybee to Canzone. One pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Canzone. 2-1 pitch, and Canzone flies out to center, 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1 with a K, third baseman Ben Williamson. See, that's the thing, though. If you don't actually follow, the teams that you're betting on a regular basis, and you're actually watching the games, you're never going to win, because you have to understand who's playing, who's pitching, how they've been doing lately, and again, if you're not going through all of the extra things that you need information-wise, you're never going to win, or you're going to win once in a while, but it's not going to be as often as you would like. You have to do the research if you want to win. If you're just throwing a dartboard at a wall and praying that it sticks, it's not. It doesn't work like that. And again, Mariners haven't been good lately, but we were good yesterday. But again, pitchers duel so far here, but think that the Mariners are going to win by 3 or more, I highly doubt it today. 1-1 pitch, tries to jam the hitter at the hips and does. Nice pitch by Bybee. 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Williamson. Two-one pitch, big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bybee to Williamson. Two-two pitch, sinker fouled off by Ben Williamson. Let's go B-Dubs, let's go Big Ben. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 1 out. 2-1 Mariner lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Six more likes to 40. Let's get there, baby. Let's go, Big Ben. And we need good production at the bottom of the order. 2-2 pitch. Sweeper fouled off. Good souvenir for that fan. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. 2-1 Mariner lead. I mean, there's so many factors that you need to pay attention to, when you end up betting on sports. And everyone thinks that they're going to win. It's like going to the casino. Everyone thinks that they're an expert. But even with someone like myself, I don't even do it. And I feel that if anyone were to bet on planet Earth on sports, it would be me. Based on all the reading and film study, reading 4 to 6 hours a day, following every team in every fucking league, doing the streaming every fucking day. And even I don't do it, So, again, a lot of people, they blind bet. And if you blind bet, you're never going to win. You might end up catching a lucky bet once in a while, but there's a lot of factors that go involved in sports that people are not willing to put in the work. And in play, and Williamson flies out to right, 2 away. Next up, 0 for 1, second baseman Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. First pitch to Cole Young, takes a strike looking outside of the zone, which should have been called ball. Terrible call there. I don't know what the ump is looking at. Yeah, Brash, a.k.a. the fireman, lights out. 12.1 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. And obviously with, Brash and Munoz, ridiculous. Again, that's probably the best 1-2 combo in the league. Very, very good. 0-1 pitch, fouled off in the zone, behind in the count 0-2 from Bybee to Young. 0-2 pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Should be 2 balls and 1 strike, but again, ump strike zone is extra big, and it's benefiting both teams at times, but I just want, I want the umpiring to be fair. But I guess if you're going to be bad for both teams, not just favor one. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 2-1 Mariner lead. Yeah, I mean, if Thornton or Snyder do come into the game, at some point, we'll see. I mean, I didn't really think that we would get good production out of Vargas and Bizzardo yesterday, and we did. And then we ended up getting Brash, but we still need more than just a 1-run lead. And Young grounds out to second, throw to first, and that is the end of the 4th inning. But again, you never know what you're going to get. And it kind of feels like we've kind of turned the page and we turned the corner after yesterday's win. And if we get a win here today, we'll have a very good chance to sweep tomorrow with Emerson Hancock on the mound. But again, we have to try to win this one first, and we need a little bit more production. A 1-run lead ain't going to cut it for either team. Let's see who's up next here for the Guardians in the top of the 5th. Next up for the Guardians, 0 for 2, left fielder Stephen Kwan. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a double at his first at-bat, DHing Kyle Manzardo. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman Jose Ramirez. Let's go Mariners. Let's take a look at the pitching stats since we're about at the halfway point. George Kirby, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, which is way high for him. He usually has 0, maybe 1 at the most. And 4 Ks, 76 pitches, 48 strikes, 5.84 ERA. And then let's go to Tanner Bybee. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 82 pitches, 49 strikes, ERA of 3.84. Let's go, George. Yeah, there's no rule, on how often you use a guy in the pen. Obviously, starters, have to have, a certain amount of days off because you don't want anyone to have Tommy John or, for them to throw out their arm, But again, typically, if you have guys that pitched the previous day, like in the pen, we're probably not going to see those guys. So we're probably not going to see Bizzardo or Vargas or Brash today. So what does that leave us with? Kowar, Colin Snyder, Trent Thornton, Gabe's fire. So at least we could have maybe Gabe, but it feels like we're going to have maybe one guy that's good. And then we may have 2 that are shaky. So we'll see where it goes. 1-1 pitch, high and away from Kirby to Kwan. And that's outside with the 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Kwan. But, obviously bullpen guys aren't going to get as tired, as a starter. So you could use, Brash 2-3 days in a row if needed, but they typically like to, give a little bit of a break for some of those guys. And Kwan pops up and flies out 1 away. And I like that we've been able to contain Stephen Kwan. Obviously once he gets going, the whole team gets going. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a double early on, DHing Kyle Manzardo. Top of the 5th inning, 2-1 Mariner lead with 1 out. Let's go, baby. First pitch fouled off, low and away with the splitter, 0-1 count. Come on, George. We got some steelhead jerseys out there. Top of the 5th inning, 2-1 Mariner lead. Trying to be able to get above 500. And we got Father's Day tomorrow, rubber match at 1:10 Pacific, Emerson Hancock on the mound. And I feel confident with him on the mound. And honestly, I feel confident with anybody starting for the Mariners at this point. It's just really about the hitting and the bullpen. And then obviously the decision-making by Dan Wilson late in games. But it feels like, after getting that big win yesterday, things have kind of turned the corner and we've turned the page a little bit as we have a broken bat here by Manzardo. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking with the knuckle curve. A great pitch by Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Manzardo. Let's go, George. Wheel and deal. Knuckle curve again, fouled off. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Manzardo. And that's the one pitch that seems like nobody can hit. 2 more likes to 40. Let's get it, baby. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 before the stream ends. We only need 12 more. So if you are in the room and haven't done it yet, please do. And we're at 20 on the dono train, 80 to go. Knuckle curve again, fouled off. And obviously Cal and George are on the same page with the knuckle curve. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. 2-1, Mariner lead. Let's go, Seattle. Trident's up. 2-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Manzardo. Two pitch, low and inside at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Manzardo. And I don't think I've seen George in this many 3-2 full counts ever. He never walks anybody, and again, obviously missing the first 50 plus games, wasn't ideal. Being shitty in the first 3 starts wasn't ideal, but he was able to get 14 Ks, a career high in his last start. And I knew you weren't going to get that today against the Guardians, but I thought that he would have a good chance for 4 to 7 Ks today, depending on if he went 6 innings or not. And he's on pace for that number. In play. And Manzardo flies out to third on a full count, 2 away. We got lucky there. Great job by George. Anytime you can end up getting a full count and getting out of it, that's a big plus for momentum. First pitch from Kirby to Jose Ramirez. Low and at the knees with a splitter. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking 2 feet off the plate with the knuckle curve. Don't know what this ump is looking at. That should have been a ball, but called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Ramirez. Woo's good at everything. Each pitcher, kind of has their certain, and each guy can throw typically 4 or 5 different pitches. So sometimes it just kind of depends on, the pitch for that particular day against that particular hitter, depending on if they're righties or lefties. But Woo is one of the, guys on the team that, he can hit you with punch outs with any of the 5 or 6 pitches that he goes through. So I'm not sure next time he, obviously is on the mound, I'll kind of keep track to see where the punch outs are and what pitches are, being a little bit more successful now, maybe than earlier in the year, but there's quite a few. I'm not sure if there's one set pitch for Woo, considering, he's been our best pitcher in 2025 and he's not limited just to one pitch. Pitch fouled off on a 1-2 count. Slider, 87 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jose Ramirez. But every pitcher on the staff, goes 4, 5, 6 pitches deep. So, and then you're starting to see like new combos of pitches by some guys this year, like the slurve, which is a slider curve combo. And that's kind of a new pitch that you don't see a lot of people using. But anytime you see a slurve, that's what they're talking about. It's a slider curve combo. Like they're always coming up with new techniques on grip and how to throw the baseball. And it's kind of exciting, to be able to see the evolution of pitchers here in 2025. Knuckle curve. low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Ramirez. Yeah, Kirby's at 95 pitches, so he's not coming back in the 6th. This will be the last inning for Kirby. Based off pitch count. In play on the 2-2 pitch. And Ramirez back. See ya. Uh-oh. And the best player on the team decides to step up, and he goes yard. Waiting a great explosion there with that follow-through, and now the game is tied at 2. Can't give up anymore. Next up, first baseman Carlos Santana. And obviously, we don't want to go in with one of our shitty bullpen guys. We have to pray that Kirby can get out of this inning without giving up another homer, and then we can see what we bring in. And it might be Trent Thornton or Colin Snyder, who comes in. So hopefully they pitch decent, so that way we don't get down late in the matchup. First pitch fouled off high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the knuckle curve. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Santana, the former Seattle Mariner. And depending on whose bullpen sucks more, that's going to determine who wins this game. Again, all it takes is one shitty pitcher to come in late in the matchup after the starters go out, and that'll determine the winner. 1-1 pitch. Low and away with that knuckle curve. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Santana. 2-1 pitch. Paints the corner low and away. Nice slider there by Kirby. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. We're tied up at 2, and it definitely can go either way. And again, I felt that normally when the Mariners have an explosion, we had 16 hits, and then we busted out, obviously with 7 runs, you're normally not going to match that production in the second game. It's going to be a little lower scoring, but that doesn't mean that either team can't get to 4 or 5 before the game ends. Top of the 5th, nobody on, 2 outs. Jose Ramirez with a solo dinger to tie it up at 2. So now Guardian fans are feeling pretty good. And we just need George to get out of the inning and we'll be just fine. And George does. There we go. I don't like him giving up the homer, but again, this is a good team. We play up to the competition. We don't play down. And again, even if we end up losing, we know that we're going to give a better effort. And again, the Guardians are the same way. They're going to want to play good teams, and they're going to have better effort. Once you play a team that is lower than you, and you get a little too cocky or overconfident, sometimes that other team will punch you in the mouth, and then you can't recover. And again, these teams are very equal. Both teams could be a wild card team. Obviously, we know that the Stros and the Tigers are leading the division, and nobody's going to probably catch Detroit unless they have a massive amount of injuries or the Guardians or the Twins to catch up. But, you got 3 solid teams. Obviously, with the Tigers, Guardians, and Twins, you got the Stros and the Mariners, and, we'll see where the Rangers, if they can, improve their record and make it a 3-team race at some point. But at least we only give up 1. But now it gets really dicey because we have to see what we have in the bullpen for not only the Guardians, but for the Mariners as well. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th. And obviously we want to maximize our production because we don't know who they're going to bring in. And again, if they bring in a guy like Snyder or Trent Thornton, the game could be over in the 6th inning if he gives up 5 runs. So hopefully that's not the case, but we will find out. Next up, 1 for 1 with a run and a walk. Shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a run. Center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And again, we need some good production here from JP, Julio, and Cal. And hopefully we can get at least a run to make it 3-2. But not the 14K outing, in his previous start. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, 101 pitches, 63 strikes, 5.96 ERA. Still, has to shake the cobwebs a little bit. So if you really think about it, It wasn't terrible, but again, from George, walking a little bit more than we would like. And Castillo gave up 2. And again, the goal is to give up 3 or less. But if you give up 1 or 2, that's pretty standard for any pitcher, whether it's Skeens, or a guy like George Kirby that missed the first 50 games. So now you just got to pray that the bats light up late in the matchup. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging on the line. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bybee to Crawford. But wait for George to be able to get out of the inning, so that way that we're not down 3-2 or 4-2. We're still in it. And it's not like Tanner Bybee's been perfect either. 4-6 record, 3.81 ERA, but they both have settled down quite a bit from the beginning of the game, and hopefully we can get something here to knock out Bybee in the 5th. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Bybee. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. And now Bybee is at 86 pitches. So this will be the last inning for Bybee as well, more than likely. 2-2 pitch, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Bybee to Crawford. Let's go, J.P. 3-2 pitch, fouled off. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Bybee to J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. We need you, baby. Let's go, Crawdaddy. Get on base. Bring that electricity. Start it off. Three-two pitch. Sweeper fouled off. Nice souvenir for that fan. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, and no outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. We're knotted up at 2. And again, a little bit more closer of a matchup up to this point. And then once Bybee exits, we'll figure out whose bullpen is more ass. And hopefully both bullpens play well. But traditionally speaking, that typically isn't going to be the case. There typically will be one bullpen better than the other. And hopefully it'll be us, but you never know. It really depends on who comes in. 3-2 pitch. Sweeper fouled off. Long at bat here for J.P. Crawford. 8 pitches in. Come on, J.P. Grind out this at bat, baby. Get a single.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go, baby. Try to dance up. Let's go, M's. Come on, JP. Back-to-back sweepers by Bybee. JP's got a pretty good eye for the baseball. In play. There we go, baby. JP is money. And again, when you get good production from your leadoff hitter, it changes everything. And JP has been pretty fucking good, even when we were on our losing streak. And again, he's filled in very admirably for Victor Robles, who took his job and then got hurt when he ran into the wall and the netting against the Giants at the beginning of the year. We have to be blessed that we got a guy like JP to step up, even though his ego might have been a little bruised having to move to the 9-hole. But again, injuries are common. And now we have Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Julio. And Julio grounds out to third, throw to first, 1 away. Be patient, Julio. I know you love to go for that first pitch, thinking you're going to homer or get a single, double, triple, but you're hurting the team by not playing small ball. Come on. You don't have to be the fucking hero at every at-bat. Next up, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And Julio's not striking out nearly as often as he did, but again, he's been much better, and he's been a good hitter, in May and June. But again, I feel like there's a few, at-bats that could have been better, and even though he's still getting 1 or 2 hits pretty much every game, but, take a single, take a walk, work the count, don't go for that first pitch, whether you think it's going to be a strike or not, because most of the time you're getting these little dribblers or pop-outs and you're hurting the team. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, paints the corner low and away. A nice pitch by Bybee. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. 2-2 game. Let's go, Cal. Third in the league with runs batted in, and let's go, baby. Top 3 MVP candidate with Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh, and Shohei Ohtani. Let's go, Cal. Bring that electricity. We need it. 2-run blast would be amazing, but in play. And Cal gets hit by a pitch, which is rare. You don't see Cal get hit that often. Now we got runners at first and second with Jorge Polanco. And Polo's been pretty hot for us. Same thing as Randy. Could this be the day where we see Polo go with a 3-run jack that we thought that Cal would at the previous at-bat? Let's go, Polo. But at this point, we'll take a RBI single. Let's go, Polo. RBI single, RBI double. We can get it to 3-2 or 4-2 with one swing, and we got Randy Arozarena on deck. And if it was early in the year when Randy has bases loaded or 2 guys on, you're like, no. But lately, it's been like, yes, like we don't mind if he gets up. And that pitch gets away from Bybee. Cal isn't injured, and that pitch was very inside and kind of collects himself, dusts himself off. He's fine. And now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. Let's go, baby. Take advantage of this opportunity. You never know. And when that Trent Thornton or Colin Snyder gets his name called, you know, he can give up a lot of runs very, very quickly. So we need to be able to take advantage as often as we can. Now they have a mound visit with the manager and Bybee on how they're going to approach this at-bat against Polo. Let's go, baby. You got Festa warming up there in the pen for the Guardians. Obviously, a little bit more of an enjoyable game for the Guardian fans in the building, like Zay. Obviously, it was decently close for a minute until we had that explosion inning, and then, it got worse and worse for that fan base, and obviously got better and better for us. But again, I kind of felt it was going to be a pitcher's duel with Bybee and Kirby, and it was. Still thought, we would get a few runs, but it wasn't going to be like yesterday. And again, it's going to come down to the bullpen on who wins this game. Bottom of the 5th, 2-2 tie. Oh, God, they're going to try to pick off JP. And JP tagged out. Fuck, man. Unbelievable. That is not what we needed there. And again, it's like you got to make sure that you don't get called out, on the base paths. And obviously JP got caught looking and got ran down 2 away. Brutal. Now we only have a runner at first with 2 outs, and we might have fucked up an opportunity to get a run there unless Polo or Randy goes for a homer. 1-0 pitch, low and away with the 4-seam fastball. 2 balls and no strikes to Jorge Polanco. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Polo. And that doesn't happen to JP that often. But that was obviously good defense and a good call, either by the manager or the pitcher or catcher, seeing how far JP was off the bag. And it's not like he was, way off. He was at the normal distance off second base, and you don't really assume the pitcher is going to turn around and throw to second that often. I mean, it happens maybe once or twice a game, and he got caught. And hopefully that will be the last time that we get caught on the base paths. But that definitely killed the momentum a little bit there. 2-1 pitch. Low and at the knees, counting as 3 balls, 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs to Jorge Polanco. 3-1 pitch, low and away, and there's a walk. So at least we make up for it where we get a walk here, and Polo's on base. So we still got guys at first and second now. All right, here we go. We're still in it. Next up, Randy Arozarena. Polo at first, Cal at second. Let's go, Randy. You know what to do. He ends up getting an RBI double. It'll be 4-2. RBI single, it'll be 3-2. Let's go, Randy. Bring that electricity, baby. First pitch, takes a strike looking with the cutter. 87 miles an hour by Tanner Bybee. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. low and away, tries to paint the corner and misses with the sweeper, 84 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bybee to Randy Arozarena. Bottom of the 5th, 2-2 tie. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. 2 balls and 1 strike from Bybee to Randy. Come on, Randy. Come on, Randy. You've been pretty good as of late. You know, we didn't really trust you. You know, you were decent at the beginning of the year. Then you were in a real cold streak for like a month and a half. And then within the last 2 to 3 weeks, he's gotten much better. Hopefully Randy can find a way to get us on a lead here in the 5th, but don't expect anything. And Randy grounds out into the fielder's choice. Good defense there by Cleveland, and we get nothing. And now we're going to have obviously both starters out, and whoever's bullpen ends up being stronger will more than likely find a way to win this game. Good job by Cleveland there, and obviously JP getting caught wasn't ideal. You know, no guarantee that we would have been able to bring him home, but you never know. End of the 5th inning, we're knotted up at 2. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the 6th for the Guardians. Next up for the Guardians, 1-for-1 with a base on ball, second baseman Daniel Schneemann. Batting second, 0-for-2 with 2 Ks, catcher Bo Naylor. And batting third, 1-for-1 with an RBI and a base on ball. Probably the best hitter in the series for the Guardians up to this point, Nolan Jones. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We're at 40 likes. We need 10 more to hit the goal. And we're at 20 on the dono train, 80 to go. Top of the 6th inning, we're knotted up at 2. Let's go, baby. We need you, Mariner Moose. And we got Gabe Spire coming in, baby. I love it. There we go. Good decision. And let's look at Bybee's final numbers. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 Ks, 104 pitches, 61 strikes, 3.79 ERA. And I don't know if that is something that we anticipated, because a lot of times when we end up seeing Brash, we don't see Spire for a while. But this is a good opportunity to bring in Gabe, and hopefully we get the good Gabe. You know, and again, he is our second best to Matt Brash, and hopefully we get some good production with Gabe. All right, baby, let's go. Mow him down. 1, 2, 3. Feeling pretty good that it's not Colin Snyder or fucking Trent Thornton here. First pitch from Spire to Schneemann. Takes a strike looking. A foot off the plate. Bad call. Should have been called ball, but called strike. But this ump has been bad for both teams. You know, the strike zone is a foot off the plate, you know, on the right-hand side for a lot of pitches. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Guardians. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Mariners. No errors for either. And again, we'll see if this strike zone ends up, you know, being a factor for either team late. 0-1 pitch, low and away, tries to paint the corner and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Schneemann. Come on, Gabe. Let's go, baby. Wheel and deal, baby. Spire on the mound, Schneemann in the box. Top of the 6th inning, we're knotted up at 2. Come on, Gabe. 29 games, 2-0 record, 2.16 ERA, 25 innings, 6 walks, 37 strikeouts, averages 204, and Schneemann reached on an infield single to the shortstop. And that's not a good sign for Gabe early on. Now we need a double play, and hopefully we get it. Next up is catcher Bo Naylor. Come on, Gabe. We can't have you blow the game. I mean, again, we're probably not going to see Brash today at all since he pitched yesterday. So we're going to need you to be the Brash. That was a great base knock there by Schneemann to hit that one on the ground and pop up in the air to give him plenty of time to run to first. Beautiful hit by Schneemann. Always scheming. Daniel Schneeman. It ain't Willie Beeman. Spire on the mound. Bo Naylor in the box. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking. Right down the middle. Behind in the count 0-2 to Gabe Spire. Let's go, Gabe. Got to be careful when you pitch to Bo as well. 0-2 pitch, fouled off. Count remains, no balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs with a 2-2 tie. Come on, baby. Find a way. Dig deep here. And it would be awesome if we could actually see Gabe, when he's good, go more than 1 inning. You know, help us out. 0-2 pitch. And big swing and a miss. See ya! And that's exactly what we needed out of our second best guy in the pen, not named Matt Brash. But he is one of the best lefty relievers in baseball, not just for the Seattle Mariners, but in general. If you look at his stats compared to any other lefty in the league that's a relief pitcher, he is at the top. A very rare strikeout for Bo Naylor. Next up, a thorn in our side, a guy that's been very good in Game 1 and in Game 2, right fielder Nolan Jones. Homer yesterday and 1 for 1 with an RBI and a walk today. See if we can get a slow dribbler up the middle where we can get a double play unless Spire is on and he gets him to punch out. First pitch, low and away with the slider, 82 miles an hour by Spire, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike to Nolan Jones. Come on, Gabe. Takes that strike looking high and away for the second pitch. And again, not anything really right down the middle. Make sure you're painting the corners. And again, you don't want to give them a freebie here. 1-1 pitch, fouled off with that sinker, 94 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Jones. Let's go, Gabe. Wheel and deal, baby. Let's get it. Nolan Jones in the box. Gabe Spire on the mound. Bring that electricity, Gabe. Top of the 6th inning, 2-2 tie. Runner at first with 1 out. Spire on the mound. Nolan Jones in the box. Come on, Gabe. Punch him out. Happy Father's Day weekend for everyone in the building. And shout out to all the people that are watching across the globe, not just in the United States. Viewership has gone up all over the world, and I appreciate that very, very much. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Gabe Spire. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. We need a double play, slow dribbler right up the middle to JP or Cole Young and throw to Rowdy, or a punch out on Nolan Jones. Couple throws to first, but you're not going to get them to bite. 1-2 pitch, fouled off low and away. 4-seam fastball, 86 miles an hour by Spire. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Best case scenario would be a slow dribbler for a double play, but we would take a punch out here on Jones as well. All right, we hit 40, 10 more to go to hit the goal. We'll get there. We still got 3-4 more innings. 1-2 pitch. Tries to jam the hitter inside, and he fouls it off. 4-seam, and sinker. 4 consecutive. How many foul balls is that in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Nolan Jones, he's grinding this at-bat out. Come on, Gabe. 1-2 pitch. 4-seam fastball. Fouled off again. Wow. Gabe is grinding. Nolan Jones is grinding at this at-bat. 5 consecutive foul balls. Sinker, 4-seam, sinker, 4-seam. A lot of souvenirs going into the crowd there at T-Mobile here today, just at this at-bat. And obviously, if you're at a game, that's exactly what you want if you want a baseball. You want a couple long at-bats, with consecutive foul balls. So you have a chance to be able to take home a nice souvenir. Top of the 6th, runner at first with 1 out. Spire on the mound, Nolan Jones in the box. 1-2 pitch in play. And he gets on base with a single to right, Schneemann to third. And now they are threatening again with runners on the corners with 1 out. We definitely need the double play now to get out of this inning. Next up, for the Guardians, 0 for 1 with a base on ball, Gabriel Arias. And hopefully we get that slow dribbler up the middle, and it looks like they're going to have Fry pinch hit. All right, David Fry coming in for the first time in the series. Don't get any ideas, David. We need a double play bad. Slow dribbler right up the middle to JP or Cole Young. Throw to Rowdy. We get out of the inning, and the game is still tied. Because, again, we can't give up runs with Gabe, right? Because if Gabe is giving up runs, what the hell is going to happen with the next guy coming in? Or the guy after that? First pitch from Spire to Fry, takes a strike looking. And Nolan Jones steals second. Now they got runners at second and third. Come on, Mariners. Oh, 1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle by Fry, finding the count 0-2. Now you got runners at second and third with 1 out. Makes it a little bit harder to be able to get a double play with runners at second and third, but not impossible. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Fry. Come on, Gabe. I want us to compete. And again, if Gabe gets fucked up, what's going to happen if they bring in Trent Thornton or Colin Snyder or, Jackson Kowar? This could get real ugly. 1-2 pitch, fouled off high and away. Top of the 6th, 2-2 tie. Runners at second and third with 1 out. With a 1-2 count from Spire to Fry. And this is the first time that we've seen David in the series. Come on, Gabe. Wheel and deal, baby. Let's go. And 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Got him. 2 away. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Nice job by Gabe. David Fry, see ya. And next up for the Guardians with 2 outs, center fielder Angel Martinez. All right, Gabe, 1 more out. Strikeout, pop up, ground out. All of the above. We don't care. First pitch fouled off by Angel Martinez. 0-1 count. Come on, Gabe. 2 more strikes, baby. Let's go, Gabe. Finish strong here. We don't want the game to be over in the 6th inning. We want to have a chance late in this matchup. 0-1 pitch. Low and out the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at second and third with 2 outs. Guardians threatening, but the Mariners have had some pretty good defense up to this point. Same thing with Cleveland. And again, it's anybody's game at this point here in the top of the 6th. And big wild pitch. Fuck, Gabe. And that brings home a run. Schneemann scores off the wild pitch. Fuck. 3-2 Cleveland. And I don't think anyone anticipated that happening. And now we're looking up at the scoreboard now. And again, if Gabe is going to give up a run, what the hell is going to happen with the other guys that come in after? Fucking A, Gabe. Brutal. Cleveland getting exactly what they needed on that wild pitch. Good awareness there by Schneemann. And now they have a runner at third with 2 outs. Now we have to make sure that they don't give up any more than that. We have to keep it within 1 run. Otherwise the chances of, being competitive late in the matchup will go away drastically. Pitch is high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Martinez. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off low and at the knees. Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes with the runner at third and 2 outs. And again, we can't give up another run here. And Cal is very good, on the wild pitches, but there are going to be pitches too wild for even our, amazing big dumper. Fucking Gabe. Motherfucking Gabe. He's still our second best guy in the pen, but that definitely could have been avoided. And in play, and Martinez pops out to first. So at least we stop the bleeding and they only score 1, but it could have been fucking prevented. Now the Guardians are up 3-2. And again, the magic number, 4 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And again, we don't win a whole lot of games scoring 1-3. So hopefully, their bullpen guys are shaky as well. And we can end up tying this game up or taking the lead in the next couple innings. Next up for the Mariners, 0-2 with 2 Ks, Rowdy Tellez. Let's go, Rowdy. Batting second for the Mariners, 0-2, right fielder Dominic Canzone. Let's go, Dom. And batting third, 0-2 with a K, third baseman Ben Williamson. Something's got to give. We can't have all 3 of these guys go 0-3. Rowdy, Dom, Ben, let's go. And if those guys get hits, there'll be more of a chance that Cole will get on, and then that'll trickle over to someone that's already hot in JP. Let's go. Nice job by the Guardians on taking the lead on that wild pitch by Gabe. Now JT in the building. What's good? All right, Festa is coming in for Bybee. And hopefully Festa, is a little shaky like Gabe, and we're able to tie it up or possibly take the lead. We still got half of the game to go, so not ideal, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse, right? Gabe could have given up 2 runs or 3, and then, the game would have been over at that point. So, we're still down a run, but again, if you're playing in an MLB game, you're not going to win a whole lot of games only scoring 1-3. So we got to double what we have right now if we actually have a serious chance of beating this team in the first 2 games. Festa on the mound, Tellez in the box. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone, 0-1 count. What's good, brother? How are you? Definitely nice to have the Pacific Northwest with a little bit of a cool down, 60 to 70, not 90 to 100. Definitely enjoying the walks with my pup a lot more, and I don't have to worry about her getting dehydrated or overheated. So, oh, 1 pitch, fouled off. 0-2 pitch, and Tellez flies out to left, 1 away. All right, who's going to be the hero for the Mariners? Next up is Dominic Canzone. First pitch, sweeper, low and out the knees, 0-1 count. Fouls that one off. Come on, Dom. And Dom has been pretty good for us since we called him up. 0-1 pitch, low and out the knees, tries to jam the hitter with the sweeper. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Guardians taking a 3-2 lead off a wild pitch off of Gabe Spire, who normally is our reliable, lefty. in the pen, second best to Matt Brash, and fucked it up for us, just plain and simple. But hopefully we can find a way to get some offense here on Festa. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking a foot off the plate. And again, this ump strike zone is terrible, but at least he's being terrible for both teams. 1-2 pitch, and a big swing and a miss. Down goes Dominic Canzone. 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, it's B-Dubs, Big Ben. Ben Williamson. Come on, baby. Come on, Ben. Someone's got to get the rally started. If Ben gets on, it'll give a better chance for Cole. And we're pretty good with 2 outs. And we're very good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, but I don't know if we're going to get anything in this inning. After Gabe gave up that run, sometimes, mentally, you're a little shaky, with the batters, a lot of pressure after just giving up that run. So would not be shocked if we end up getting 1, 2, 3 and we go out of this inning with nothing. But I hope Ben can get on somehow, some way, but I don't feel that he will. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. But I do feel in the 7th, 8th, and 9th we'll have a better chance to get something, but I don't know if we're going to get anything here. Kind of feels like they're a little down and out after giving up that run off that wild pitch. So, but hopefully Ben can prove me wrong. 1-2 pitch, cutter fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Festa on the mound, Ben Williamson in the box. But at least we have 3 innings after this to try to come back and win. One-two pitch, high and away with that cutter, 90 miles an hour by Festa. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 3-2 Guardians lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Come on, Ben. Two-two pitch, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Festa to Williamson. Maybe the best case scenario here would be a walk for Big Ben, but not really sure if Cole Young would be able to get a hit in this situation. 3-2 pitch, fouled off with the cutter right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with nobody on. Festa on the mound, Williamson in the box. I mean, Ben's grinding out this at-bat, 7 pitches in. I mean, we could only dream if Julio could go 7 pitches in. And that's the end of the 6th inning as Williamson strikes out swinging. And again, I'm not going to be correct on every prediction, but again, I have a pretty good feel and good ESP, on what's going to happen. And again, I don't know what my percentage is predicting things, 80%. Sometimes it'll be 90%, but again, we don't get anything there. But again, we will have a good chance in the 7th, 8th, and 9th to recover. All right, let's go to the top of the 7th inning, and I'm curious to see who they're going to bring out here. And depending on who they bring out may determine if we actually can come back or not. Next up for the Guardians, 0 for 3, left fielder Stephen Kwan. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a double at his first at-bat, Kyle Manzardo. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, RBI, and a K, third baseman Jose Ramirez. Last at-bat, a solo dinger. And Spire had 26 pitches in that last inning, so I don't think I would want Gabe to come out. There is going to be, certain times where Gabe is lights out, and then he only pitches 8 pitches, and you're like, okay, send him back out again. But they normally don't have Gabe pitch more than 1 inning, and I don't think I would have Gabe go out there, and they won't, and they're going to bring in Carlos Vargas. So here we go. Vargas did good for us yesterday. Can he do good 2 games in a row? I don't know. But if he does, we'll still have a chance in this game. If he doesn't, the game might be over this inning. So hopefully it's the good Carlos Vargas. But I don't know if anyone makes me more kind of shaky. Obviously Trent Thornton, Colin Snyder more, but Vargas is right there with them. I don't really trust him. And hopefully Vargas can earn a little bit of trust at the top of the order. Kwan, Manzardo, Ramirez. That's a big, big ask. Oh, Vargas. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. 9 more likes to 50. Let's get there, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes before the stream ends. And we're still shooting for a hundo in the donos. We're at 20, 80 to go. And again, Stephen Kwan typically isn't going to go 0 for 4 or 0 for 5. So this will be very interesting on how they pitch. And again, Vargas is really wild. So he's not necessarily going to get a lot of punch outs. Again, he's going to be pitching and trying to get guys to chase inside or outside. But if he goes right down the middle, that could be the end of us. Got to pray that Vargas actually does well here and he gets him to chase, because he's going to be all over the pace, 95 to 97, and it'll be wild. Wild thing. First pitch, takes a strike looking, a foot off the plate. Should have been called ball. But again, this ump is terrible for both teams today. Called the strike. 0-1 pitch, high and away with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Vargas to Kwan. And this actually might, play into our benefit, where this guy's strike zone is a little bit wider than normal, for both pitchers. 1-1 pitch, low and away with that sinker. 97 miles an hour by Vargas. 2 balls and 1 strike from Vargas to Kwan. Come on, Mariner Moose, we need you. 2-1 pitch, in play, and Kwan grounds out to third. Williamson, throw to first, 1 away. We got extremely lucky there. Down goes Stephen Kwan, hit the Kwan. Next up, DHing, 1 for 3, double at his first at-bat, Kyle Manzardo. And hopefully we'll get a little bit of control out of Vargas. First pitch, off the plate, fouled off by Manzardo, 0-1 count. And again, if they're going to chase pitches off the plate, that's going to be in our benefit. Because again, Vargas has a hard time hitting the strike zone. But if he can get them to chase, just like Stephen Kwan did there, we're going to have a good chance to get out of this inning possibly unscathed. Top of the 7th, 3-2 Guardian lead. They took the Uncle Mo and the momentum away from us with that wild pitch by Gabe Spire, bringing in a runner from third home, and hopefully we can find a way to tie this up. 1-1 pitch, in play, and Manzardo lines out to first, 2 away. Vargas getting extremely lucky that these batters are chasing. Down goes Kwan chasing, down goes Manzardo chasing. Next up, Jose Ramirez. Last time he was up, he gave up a solo jack on George Kirby. Can't have that happen again if we want to, keep this close. Oh, baby. But so far, so good. Again, even when guys suck on our team, we have to give them credit when they're doing well, whether that's getting punch outs or getting guys to chase. And so far, Vargas was great yesterday, and so far, so good up to this point. See if he can get Ramirez out. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone. Oh, my God, he actually hit the strike zone. 0-1 count. Good sign for Vargas here. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Tries to paint the corner and does, and misses badly. Behind in the count, 0-2. Vargas 1 strike away from actually looking like a decent relief pitcher for the Mariners for once. Come on, Vargas. The last thing that I want is for us to lose based off shitty bullpen. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Tries to paint that corner, and we've seen that called strike earlier in the game, but a no-go there for the ump. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Come on, Vargas. Jose Ramirez in the box. Vargas on the mound. Top of the 7th, 3-2 Guardian lead. Come on, Mariners. Trident's up. We won game 1 yesterday, 7-2, with great starting pitching, great bullpen, and great hitting. 16 hits yesterday. 1-2 pitch, in play, and Ramirez singles to center. No surprise there. He's the best player on the team. But at least it wasn't a home run, so I can deal with that, especially when he got the first 2 batters out. All right, next up, first baseman Carlos Santana. And we need a force out at second. Let's go. Top of the 7th inning. Ramirez with a little bloop single there on Vargas, but so far so good. Vargas almost had it. Same thing with JP, but they both miss it there. And there we go. It's a miracle. Vargas good. 2 games in a row in the pen. Is Vargas actually like the 4th best guy in the pen after Brash, Spire, and Bizardo? Are we starting to have a little bit of faith in Carlos Vargas? 2 games in a row? Let's go. Hell yeah. Now let's see if we can tie this game up here in the bottom of the 7th. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2, second baseman Cole Young. And again, Cole dropping a bunt down, he would be safe. You know, you have to think of strategy here. And I don't know if they'll drop the bunt, but I know if I was managing the team, that's what I would tell Cole to do. I mean, I know he can get a single as well, but you drop a bunt down, good things could happen. Batting second, 2 for 2 with a run and a base on ball. Best player today, J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And I better not see you fucking swing at the first pitch and then end up grounding out or popping up and then the inning is over. You don't always have to be the hero. Play small ball. Take a walk if it's there. Work the count a little bit. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. This is a very critical point in the game for the Mariners. Let's go. And it still feels like the game is in reach. Let's get it, baby. Gained 2 subs today. We're getting closer. 34 subs to 20,900, 134 to get to 21,000, and that's the magic number. That's the one that we're shooting for this year. Shout out to all the new subs. I appreciate you very, very much. 6 more likes to 50. Let's get there. And we have 2,900 regular viewers. At one point, it was around 1,000 to 1,500. So that's huge for us. 40% of the people watch on a TV, 40% watch on a cell phone, 15% on a computer, 5% on a tablet. And then let's go over the stats on the geography. United States, 70%, Venezuela, 6.8, Mexico, 4.5, Dominican Republic, 3, and then Philippines, Canada, Japan, Colombia, India, Panama, New Zealand, Australia, just to name a few. Let's go. Hunter Gaddis coming into the game, 0-1 record with an ERA of 2, and hopefully we can fuck up Gaddis a little bit here, and hopefully Cole Young can get the rally started. Come on, Cole. First pitch, takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, and popped up, and flied out to right. Should have went for the bunt. I'm telling you, if he would have bunted, you would have been safe. Next up, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. First pitch, high and inside with a 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gaddis to Crawford. Come on, JP. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle again with the 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Gaddis on the mound, JP in the box. Let's go, Crawdaddy. You've been amazing today, but we need a little bit more. Come on, JP. And I wouldn't expect him to hit his 6th home run of the season here, but again, if he can get a single and just get on base, single or double, that would be great for us. In play, and another single by JP. Guy's a fucking animal. All right, Julio. All right, Cal. Do not fuck this opportunity up late in the game. Be smart at this at-bat. Next up, Julio Rodriguez. I better not see a 1 pitch out. Trident's up. Let's go. Bring back the Grays. You the man. Trident's up. I mean, you really want to be a hero, do this. So when we have a 4-3 lead, you hit a homer here, we win. Period. But again, I don't want you to be so overly aggressive where it's just some little blooper. You got to be like JP and actually get it past the infield. not to the third baseman or the second baseman. You know, he doesn't really strike out that much anymore. You know, it's usually pop-ups and ground-outs. In play, first pitch, and he fouls out to third. You fucking idiot, Julio. Really? God damn it. Learn. Now we have to rely on our best player on the team, catcher Cal Raleigh. They should make a rule that Julio cannot swing at the first pitch no matter what. So that way he goes deeper in his at-bats. Fucking Julio. Didn't you learn anything from the last at-bat? And first pitch to Cal. Cal gets aggressive. He thinks he's Julio, and he grounds out to the shortstop in a wasted inning for the Mariners. Brutal. You do not want to waste JP getting on board in an inning, at any inning. You know, you end up doing that, we're going to lose. You know, again, you need those guys to be better, and I don't really blame Cal because he normally isn't going to be too overly aggressive there, but obviously both guys going for first pitch, assuming strikes, and both getting out and one pitch each. Terrible. You know, we could have brought JP home that inning if you would have worked your count. Brutal. Well, at least we still have 2 more innings to go, but I don't like our chances now. You know, I think we could still come back, but it's going to be a lot harder now based on the guys that we have in the order. And also, we may have guys come in and pinch hit, and it may not be the guys that we want to see. Like if they bring in Garver or Solano, fucking game over. You know, and I don't want to lose this game fucking 3-2. And again, we got Emerson Hancock on the mound tomorrow in the rubber match on Father's Day. I do believe we can win tomorrow, but we might have blown our chance to tie the game or take the lead in that inning. Brutal, 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 brutal. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Guardians. And now they're playing with house money now, especially with those bad at-bats by Julio and Cal being out in one pitch each. Terrible, especially when JP got on. JP having a great game, wasted it. Next up, 2 for 2 with a run and a base on ball. Second baseman, Daniel Schneemann. Always scheming, Daniel Schneemann. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, catcher Bo Naylor. He doesn't typically go 0 for 4, just saying. And batting third, probably the best player in this series, 2 for 2, RBI, base on ball, home run yesterday, Nolan Jones. And they're bringing in Casey Legumina now. And now Vargas did good 2 games in a row. Is this the inning where Legumina just fucking collapses and then we end up being down 5-2? It's possible. I want to win the series as well, and I never thought that we really were going to sweep. So, I mean, if we lose this and we win tomorrow and we win the series, fine. You know, but again, we still have a chance. We're only down by 1. But again, depending on who's coming in on our bullpen and who we have in our batting order could really determine the outcome. And again, we're going to have possibly Polo, Randy, and Rowdy, but it could end up being, you know, Mitch Garver, Solano. You know, they may do that. So we'll see what happens. First pitch from Legumina to Schneemann. Low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Legumina to Schneemann. And I don't really trust Legumina, so we'll see what happens here. 5 more likes to 50. Let's get there, baby. Beautiful sunset there in Seattle. 1-1 pitch in play. And grounds out to third. Williamson throw to first. 1 away. We're getting extremely lucky with our bullpen up to this point. Can our luck continue? Next up, catcher Bo Naylor. Naylor 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, but this is Legumina on the mound. First pitch, high and away with the changeup, 1-0 count. And there's been games where Legumina has been pretty good, but there's also been games where he's been goddamn terrible. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Legumina to Naylor. Come on, baby. Ken Griffey Jr. in the building. It's cool to be able to see him, you know, at the park these last couple days. Top of the 8th inning, 3-2 Guardians lead. It was tied up 2-2 for the longest time before Gabe Spire had a wild pitch, and that scored a runner home from third. 1-2 pitch, and Naylor strikes out looking. Wow. Legumina stepping up. 2 away. our bullpen, and it shows you, when you finally win a game 7-2 after playing shitty for a month and a half, even the bullpen is regaining confidence, and that's a good sign for the Mariners moving forward. Maybe no more collapses for our bullpen. And next up, 2 for 2 with an RBI and a walk, Nolan Jones. Now, if you get Nolan Jones out, then I'll really be excited. Let's go. First pitch. Low and Athens in the strike zone, called ball. Come on, ump. Give us the call. It's in the zone. 1-0 pitch. In the zone again. 2 balls and no strikes. It should be 0-2. Come on. We're already down a run. And if Legomina is actually pitching in the zone, give him the fucking call. Both pitches in the zone. Ridiculous. 2-0 pitch. Fouled off. High and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Should be 0-2 right now. Brutal. See if Legomina can fight this bad umping that we're seeing here today. But it's universally bad for both teams. But I can't believe both of those were called ball when they were both in the zone. I mean, if they're a foot outside the zone, fine. So be it. But come on, man. It's an 8th inning. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. With nobody on and 2 outs, 1 more strike, and we see if Legomina can actually turn into a decent relief pitcher here today. And again, we can't let the lead, expand to 2 runs or more, or we're fucked. I mean, we still might end up losing this game 3-2. A piece of me kind of feels like it might end that way, but I'm hoping that we can get something in the 8th. Because if we don't get anything in the 8th, we're going to lose 3-2 unless we have a shitty bullpen guy come in and expand the lead even further for the Guardians. So. This might be our last chance to try to tie the game up. We could still do it in the 9th, but 8th inning is where you want to do it. And Legomina gets us out of the inning. Holy hell. Vargas and Legomina not giving up home runs or multiple runs? What the hell is going on here? All right, we got Polo, Randy, and Rowdy. They're not making any adjustments, so we should have a chance here. Next up, 0 for 1 with an RBI and a base on ball, DHing Jorge Polanco. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a base on ball, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, first baseman Rowdy Tellez. And this is a decent lineup that we have. Obviously, JP, Julio, Cal normally is going to be the best lineup, but not when you have Julio and Cal chasing after first pitch, assuming that they're going to be strikes, and then both of them being out with 1 pitch each. That really hurt our chances. But again, at least the middle of the order, even though they haven't done anything today, they could here late, and hopefully they do. Because if we don't get anything here, it might be game over. Because you got to think after that, if we don't get anything and all 3 guys get out, it's going to be Dominic, Ben, and Cole. And based on what's happened today, that could easily be 1, 2, 3, game over. Guardians win 3-2 in the 9th. So we'll see. Now they have Smith coming in, relieving Gaddis, and now we got to pray that Smith is ass. And if Smith is ass, we can end up tying or taking the lead this inning. This is going to be the make or break us in the 8th, because I don't know if we're going to get anything in the 9th based on the batting order. All right, baby, here we go. One of the last chance opportunities here for the Mariners. Let's get it done. Leading off, 0 for 1 with an RBI and a base on ball, Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. Bring that electricity, baby. Good matchup here with the Cleveland Guardians. It just really stinks that Gabe was the one that fucked up, and then fucking Vargas and Legomina gave up nothing, and Gabe was the one that had the wild pitch. Like, fuck, man. First pitch, high and away, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. And we'll see if we end up getting fair calls here by this ump. It was pretty heavy Cleveland on that last inning. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. Behind in the count, 0-2 from Smith to Polo. Kate Smith, 31 games, 2-2 record, 2.40 ERA, 45 strikeouts to 10 walks. Opponent average is only 207. So something's got to give. Come on, Polo. All day, let him know. Congrats on your dub. 0-2 pitch in play, and Polo pops out to third, 1 away. Well, with you and Captain helping, we should be able to get to that number before this stream ends. We have plenty of people in the room to do it. It's just a matter of somebody hitting that like button when it takes 1 second to do, and that'll help our numbers. Next up is Randy Arozarena, 0 for 1 with a walk. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle with a sweeper. 83 miles an hour by Smith. Nice pitch there. 0-1 count. Come on, Randy. 0-1 pitch. Low and away with that splitter. 1 ball and 1 strike from Cade Smith to Randy Arozarena. 1-1 pitch. Low and away with the 4-seam fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. Be awesome if he could end up getting a double here. Get us into a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Two pitch. Fouled off low and away with that splitter. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Cade Smith on the mound, Randy Arozarena in the box. 2-2 pitch. 5 feet off the plate, high and away with the sweeper. Gets away from Cade Smith. Count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 1 out. Smith on the mound, Arozarena in the box. Come on, Randy. We're running out of time. And Randy strikes out swinging, 2 away. All right. It kind of feels like this game is going to end 3-2. You know, and again, I'm not going to be 100% correct. And obviously, I would love to be wrong, you know, obviously, because I don't want the Mariners to lose. But that's what my, ESP is kind of telling me, that we're going to lose this game 3-2. And hopefully we win tomorrow with Emerson Hancock on Father's Day. First pitch, fouled off. 0-1 count. But again, I'm never going to be 100% in my predictions, but I feel I can make a couple predictions every game, no matter what it is. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, no matter what. So, but, in certain instances when I feel like the Mariners are going to lose, of course I want to be wrong. I don't want us to fucking lose, but it doesn't feel like we're going to do it here today. That Gabe Spire wild pitch fucked us. 0-1 pitch, fouled that one off high and away behind the count 0-2. Because it really feels like if we don't get it here in the 8th, we're not going to get it in the 9th. And again, it is possible the Guardians get more and we lose 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, depending on who comes in. But if we have someone that's decent and, gets us out of the inning, so to speak, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do anything in the bottom of the 9th with the order that we have. Dominic Canzone, Big Ben, and Cole Young. I mean, that's a big ask. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs to Rowdy Tellez. Come on, Rowdy. Let me be wrong. Let me be wrong. And down goes Rowdy Tellez, man. My ESP is on point. And I'm going to call it for us, and I'm going to call it against us. It's just really how I feel, And again, I'm not wrong often. And again, end of the 8th inning, 3-2 Guardians. Yeah, especially after having 16 hits yesterday. And what did I say in yesterday's stream? When we end up having a big game, right, where we score 5 or more, what happens in the next game? Typically nothing. And again, if you just have to follow the patterns on how the Seattle Mariner team plays, once we score or get a bunch of hits, typically there's a huge drop-off regardless on who the pitcher or the hitters are that are playing in that next game. But hopefully game number 3, the rubber match, will be the one that we can recover from. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K. DHing, obviously normally, but now you have David Fry as we have Jackson Kowar coming in. After David Fry, unless they have someone come in and pinch hit, center fielder Angel Martinez. And then batting third, if we get to that, obviously, point, will be left fielder Stephen Kwan. Top of the 9th inning, 3-2 Guardian lead. And again, I don't trust Jackson Kowar. So again, it would be nice, I guess, if we keep it just a 1-run loss to 3-2. But, we've already had Vargas do well, Legumina do well. What are the chances that Jackson Kowar mows down 3 guys? It's possible, but could also be possible that we end up losing this 4-2 or 5-2. We'll see what happens here. But definitely it feels like the Mariners lost. But at least we have another game tomorrow to win the series. Gotta win the series tomorrow with Emerson. Four more likes to get to 50. Let's get there. But you can understand why people come here for bets, and whatnot, because again, you're going to get a lot of people that stream, but not a lot of people that are correct on their predictions, whether it's, score or, what's happening, during the season. And again, there's a lot of research that's done here. There's not a lot of other streamers on YouTube that are going to be reading and watching film 4 to 6 hours a day, every day. So I feel I do a lot of due diligence, and it does pay off, most of the time, but no one's ever going to be 100% correct. First pitch, and Fry pops out to first, 1 away. That was a quick at-bat. That was like a Julio at-bat right there for David Fry. Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, center fielder Angel Martinez. First pitch, high and away with a 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kowar to Martinez. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Angel Martinez. Come on, Kowar. One-two pitch, fouled off low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kowar to Angel Martinez. And we needed more production out of Julio and Cal today, and we didn't get it. And if we were to get that production earlier in the game, or if we were able to bring JP home, maybe we win this game, or it goes into extras and we lose 4-3. But the simple fact that both of those guys got out in the 7th, where we typically rake, and they both ended up getting out on 1 pitch each. That was the end of the Mariners there. 1-2 pitch, fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. And of course, we're still going to have a chance with Dominic Canzone, Ben Williamson, and Cole Young, but it's going to be a real tough. You're going to have an absolute meltdown by the pitcher, for us to be able to tie this or win in extras. And Martinez strikes out swinging, 2 away. Next up for the Guardians, 0 for 4, Stephen Kwan. And you typically aren't going to see Stephen Kwan go 0 for 4 that often. Come on, Mariners. First pitch, takes a strike looking from Kowar, 0-1 count. Kwan in the box, Jackson Kowar on the mound. And kind of crazy, too, that all of the pitchers that came in did good except for Gabe. Gabe was the one that fucked it up, and all it was is 1 pitch that went wild. But when you have runners at second and third and they can come home, that was really the difference in the game, besides not really hitting very well today. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kowar to Kwan. 1-1 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kowar to Kwan. And obviously, if the Mariners have any chance to tie, we can't give up another run. We would have to keep it within 1. And even if we keep it within 1, still kind of feels like this might be over. We're going to need a miracle. We're going to need an absolute meltdown by the Guardian closer. And we're going to need Ben and Cole and Dominic Canzone to, definitely step up. And we get out of the inning. And there it is. Everyone doing well except for Gabe. Who would have thought? And it shows you when you end up having a big 7-2 win, it gave a little bit of a jolt and a little bit of a, electricity to the guys in the pen. Unfortunately, one pitch might end up costing us this game by Gabe's fire. But a good sign for the future to see Legomina, to see Vargas, pitching 2 games back-to-back, do well in 2 games back-to-back. And even Jackson Kowar didn't fucking, give up an additional run in this particular inning. But now we're down to the end, and we'll see what we get here in the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, but you're not going to win a whole lot of games in MLB against anybody, with 2 runs and 5 hits after getting 7 runs and 16 hits the day before. So, I hate losing close games where, you feel that you could win. But again, this is a good team. So, and Clase is coming in. Best chance for the Mariners to be able to win this game or extend it is if Dominic Canzone homers off the first pitch. And if he homers off the first pitch, we might be able to win 4-3. But this might be the only way that we tie it up, because once we go to Ben and Cole, I'm not sure if you're going to get anything out of those 2 guys. So, but if we can get back to the top of the order, if we can get back to JP or Julio somehow, some way, we might have a chance in 10 or 11. But it could end up being a very quick 1-2-3 inning here. But again, I've already come up with a couple correct predictions today, but I feel right now this will be a final 3-2 Guardians. And we'll see if I'm right. And I don't like predicting the Mariners to lose, but again, I have to be real. That's why I'm not biased. Again, I feel like if anyone were to bet, it would be me, but even I don't bet. But I have a good feel for the game. And I do a lot of research and watch a lot of film, and it feels like we don't got it today, but hopefully tomorrow will be better. We'll get more than 2 runs and 5 hits tomorrow. Believe that. All right, first pitch from Clase to Canzone. And Emmanuel Clase is a fucking beast. 4-0 record, 3.41 ERA, 31 strikeouts to 5 walks. He's not going to blow too many opportunities. He's like, Andres Munoz. Every once in a while he'll have a fuck up, but I don't think it'll be here. First pitch inside to Dominic Canzone, 0-1 count. And remember, Ben Williamson and Cole Young are not home run hitters. So really, this is the only guy that could possibly do something. And Canzone gets a single to right, so at least we have a little bit of life. Nice job, Dom. Next up, Ben Williamson. On deck, Cole Young. Let's go, Mariners. And it looks like they're going to have Miles Mastroboni hit for Williamson. Let's see if he can get us another single here at this at-bat. Come on, Ems. Prove me wrong. I would love to be wrong in this situation. Let's go, Miles. And Miles has actually been pretty good for us. And the last thing that we need is a double play. So, Miles, don't you dare hit a double play. Because if a double play happens, game over. Come on, Miles. We need a single here. Let's go. And we got Demo running for Canzone. First pitch, high and away. 1-0 count. Yeah, might be shaky, but still got a 4-0 record. 1-0 pitch. High and away, 2 balls and no strikes from Clase to Mastroboni. And everything that we need a meltdown by Clase. So far, so good. Single by Dominic Canzone and a 2-0 count to Mastroboni. Let's go. I would love to be wrong today. Let me be wrong. Let's get a 4-3 win. But again, the only way that's going to happen is a complete meltdown by the Guardians. Bottom of the ninth, runner at first, no outs. 3-2 Guardian lead. 2-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle to Mastroboni. 2-1 count. And Demo steals second. There we go. We're really putting the pressure on Clase here and the Guardian fans. Here we go. Nice job, Demo. You might not be able to hit lately, but at least you can steal bags. Bottom of the ninth, runner at second with no outs. 3 balls and 1 strike to Miles Mastrobuoni. Come on, Miles. Get on with a walk or a single. And again, if we can find a way to tie this game up in the ninth, we could win 4-3 in 10 or 11. It is possible. And there's the walk. The meltdown is continuing by Clase. I love it. Let's go. Meltdown activated. Nice job, Miles. Now you got runners at first and second with no outs. Next up, second baseman Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. Bottom of the ninth, runners at first and second. I didn't know that they were going to have Mastrobuoni pinch hit for Williamson. So that changes the, kind of outlook of the at-bat at this point. But we'll see what happens here. And Cole Young goes for a bunt. Where was that earlier in the game? Bunt's foul, 0-1 count. Bottom of the ninth, runners at first and second. I mean, obviously, Guardians still have the ability to get a double play if it's a slow dribbler to third or second. But hopefully Cole can be a hero here today. Let's go, Cole. Momentum has shifted to the Mariners now. And again, really the only way that we were going to tie this or win this is if you had a meltdown, by the Guardians. And so far, the meltdown has been activated. Could have been an easy 1, 2, 3 inning, but not so fast. Bottom of the ninth, runners at first and second with no outs. 3-2 Guardian lead. And in play, and a sac bunt to third. There we go. Finally, taking my advice there with the bunts. Now we got runners at second and third and 1 out, and we got JP Crawford. Here we go. Now we have life for sure. I didn't know if we were going to be able to get to JP, having Dom, Ben, and Cole, but Ben didn't even at bat. So everything kind of worked out by having Miles Mastrobuoni come in. And JP has been hot. He's 3 for 3. Can JP win the game for us here? Let's go, baby. And they're going to automatically walk him. Wow. They have no faith going to JP, but they feel like, Julio, no problem. All right, Julio. You have a tendency of trying to be a hero every single time, and hopefully this will be the time that you actually become a hero. Here we go. Bases loaded. 1 out. Julio Rodriguez up in the box. Cal Raleigh on deck. Come on, baby. Let's go. And again, no one's ever going to be right 100% of the time, but I would love for us to be able to win this game. We win today, we could sweep tomorrow. I don't think I've seen JP intentionally walked ever. Wow. But again, JP's 3 for 3, and obviously Julio 1 for 4. Like, who would you rather pitch to? And it's definitely Julio, but we'll see what happens here. Meltdown started, and I'll take it, man. But again, also, too, I figured it was going to be Dominic Canzone, Ben Williamson, and Cole Young, not Miles Mastrobuoni. So that threw a little monkey wrench into the prediction, but I'll take it. I don't mind being wrong when we win. But again, will Julio and Cal get enough for us to win here? That's the real question. One pitch. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Glad to see Julio not get out in 1 pitch again. Come on, Julio. I mean, best case scenario, maybe even for Julio, if he just gets fucking walked and then they bring in a freebie to tie the game, and then we would win. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 1 out. Mariners are threatening. But can Julio be actually a hero here today? Cal Raleigh on deck. Bottom of the ninth, 3-2 Guardians lead. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off again. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, Julio. Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. 2-2 pitch. cutter fouled off 100 miles an hour on back-to-back-to-back pitches from Clase. Come on, Julio. Be the hero. I mean, this is the best position that you're going to be in. You're down a run. There's bases loaded. We don't even need you to hit a grand salami. That would be the most dramatic way to win, but we could still win with an RBI double. 2-2 pitch. Low and away. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here we go. Could we end up getting a walk to tie the game? We'll see if Julio will make it happen or not. Clase on the mound. And there it is, baby. There's the walk. I love it. There we go. Complete meltdown by the Guardians. And now the game is tied. I love it. I love it. Momentum has shifted, and now we should be able to win the game. And again, the Guardians are not going to be happy. Their fan base and their players. This is a game that they should have won. Wild pitch brings home the run. So not only do we have a wild pitch, you get a wild pitch by the Guardians there. Clutch. Epic meltdown activated. I love it. Love it. And we needed this too. All it takes is one pitcher to have a meltdown for a team to come back. Now we got runners at second and third. And Julio, 3-2 pitch, strikes out swinging, 2 away. All right, so the game is tied. We have a chance to win in regulation if Cal Raleigh ends up getting something. But of course, they end up intentionally walking Big Dumper. Boo! Next up is Jorge Polanco. Now we got bases loaded with 2 outs. They don't even want to go. They don't want to test JP or Cal. And now we got Polo coming up to see if Polo can be a hero. But even if we don't get the winning run here in the bottom of the 9th, we've taken back the momentum, and we might actually be able to win this game in 10 or 11 if we don't win it right here with Polo. Bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, 2 outs. Great job. Julio chokes again. No surprise there, but maybe Polo can be the hero. And I have confidence that Cal would have been able to get the RBI single to win. So that was probably a good decision for them to intentionally walk him. First pitch, high and away with the cutter, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. Let's win this, baby. Bottom of the 9th, tied up at 3. Wild pitch by Gabe Spire gave them the 3-2 lead. Wild pitch by Clase, and we win! Let's go! Let's go! Woo! Let's go, baby! Polo singles to center. Mastroboni scores. Mariners win! Mariners win! Mariners win! I love being wrong. Woo! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Wow, what an epic fucking meltdown by Clase. And you may not win a game in this series now, Cleveland. That was the one that you needed. Way to go, Polo. Huge! And again, I'm actually shocked that this actually happened. But again, all you need is one meltdown, and Polo singles to center. Mastroboni scores, and the Mariners walk off and win, baby. Woo! Hell yeah. Let's go. $121 consecutive victories, huh? Not anymore. Not anymore, baby. When you're in that position. But again, all it takes is one meltdown. And then when you take advantage, hell yeah. Final score, Seattle Mariners 4, Guardians 3. Let's go. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Hell yeah. And finding a way to win 7-2 in game number 1. Again, and based on how we were playing in the last month and a half, you would never predict that would happen. And again, we were tied at 2-2. Gabe Spire had a wild pitch. It went to 3-2. And again, the only way that we were going to win is a meltdown. And again, I'm not going to be correct. on every prediction, but it definitely felt like we were going to lose 3-2 unless the meltdown happened, and then we actually got it. So thank you, sports gods. I'll always take a meltdown by a pitcher on the opposing team. I know Guardian fans are not happy about that, but there you go. Tridents up, go M's. Fucking huge. Fucking huge. What a win. What a comeback. And again, that's not going to happen for the Mariners that often, you know, especially when you have Dominic Canzone. Was supposed to be Ben Williamson, but then we had Miles Mastrobuoni come in and then Cole Young. But, you know, it kind of felt if we could ever get to like JP, you know, being 3 for 3, something could happen. But I wasn't expecting a meltdown by their pitcher. I assumed that they were just going to mow down the hitters and we would lose 3-2. But again, this Mariner team has turned a corner and they've turned a page. And again, winning 7-2 yesterday, finding a way to win today 4-3 in regulation. And we're above 500, baby. And again, we got the Father's Day game, and I've already made the thumb, obviously ahead of time. And we got Emerson Hancock on the mound. And I feel confident that we can get to 4 to 5 runs with Emerson Hancock tomorrow. What a great comeback by the Seattle Mariners. GG to all of the Guardian fans. And man, unbelievable. What a comeback. Amazing. What electricity. And I feel bad, you know, with the Clase, you know, for the Guardian fans, because we've seen that with Munoz as well, you know, where you have control and then you blow the game right there at the end. And 4-0 record, obviously, for Clase, but ERA was a little high, and we took advantage. GG, Zay, and all of the other Guardian fans, you know, and again, you guys will still have an opportunity to win one game in the series tomorrow. And obviously, us as Mariner fans, you know, we're going to go for the sweep. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it, but again, we have confidence that we can. And man, unbelievable comeback. Nice job. Tridents up. Go Mariners. Let's go, baby. Shout out to all the people that liked, sub, donated, commented, and shared. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Orion, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Final score, Seattle Mariners 4, Guardians 3. And I will be live tomorrow for the Father's Day matchup at 1:10 Pacific. Come through and hang out if you can. Make sure you're spending time with your dads and your fathers and wishing anyone a happy Father's Day. And hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Can't wait to be able to see what's in store for tomorrow for the matchup between the Mariners and the Guardians. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Tridents up. Go Mariners.